Broadcasting stations. It's time for Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. The first hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome into Sports Time on a Monday. Bryant Dacus, Brett Norsworthy, Jay Morgan Harder with you after a really entertaining golf tournament over the weekend. We're back after spending 2 days at TPC Southwind. 3 days. I keep forgetting about Wednesday. I don't know why I keep forgetting that we were out there on Wednesday. But yes, 3 days out at TPC Southwind. It was a fun Thursday and Friday. But
Six total for me.
6 total for you. I didn't make it out during the weekend, but it was a very, very fun tournament from start to finish.
It sure was.
A great finish. Lucas Glover going back-to-back in tournaments. And, really, outside of hitting the water on Sunday to kind of force that playoffs, was extremely consistent from Thursday on, especially Sunday. I thought there was a chance that he could kind of I don't want to say fall apart, but, maybe miss one here, miss one there. But really putting, which has become his strong suit after being an awful putter, just extremely consistent.
After he got the fly rod putter.
I mean, it's working out for him. But it
the
was
Dan Jenkins fly rod. You can't get them as long as they used to be because no anchoring, but it's really close to anchoring.
It is. It's very close. But, he found what worked for him, and it is surprisingly really, really working for him. I didn't know this. Dave mentioned this during his show this morning. I think he said in the last 6 tournaments, he has been top 6 in all of those with 2 wins on top of that. So, has been really one of the more consistent players on tour, maybe the most consistent player on tour over the last month and a half. So, and a really good story from kind of, having the yips and just really falling completely
about to
off.
Fade away for a career.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
I'm not trying to be ugly, but about to become Rich Beam or Todd Hamilton.
Yeah.
Just drift off, won a major, 09, Bethpage Black. I still say that should count double, because that's not even real how tough that course is. To basically played his way into notoriety and then back to obscurity.
Yeah, and so
now.
Crazy, just the story from start to finish.
Didn't play in a single major this year.
That's insane.
Not missed 4 cuts, not missed 3 cuts in T58.
Yeah.
Didn't play in a major.
At all. That's crazy. And now he's the hottest golfer on tour, the most talked about golfer. There's now serious debates and conversations on if this guy will be on the Ryder Cup, if they'll make him a captain's pick for the Ryder Cup here coming up shortly. So, you're right, from going from really on top, winning a major, to obscurity and almost completely out of the game, and now really back up to the top. Just an incredible story. And for it to happen in Memphis, for us to get another playoff after a playoff last year. 3 straight, yes. It's been this tournament has really been incredibly fun over the past, for a while, but the intrigue and the excitement around playoffs in a playoff has been really fun to watch over the past couple of years.
It sure has. So playoff this year, I missed by 1. I said 16 would win it. Mm-hmm. Well, it would have, but 15 won it. 3 straight
15
playoffs.
Won it last year, right?
Last year, 15 won it.
15, yeah.
With Zalatoris, Straka. 2021, Abraham Answer and Sam Burns, 16 won it.
Wow.
So
right
get to 15, 16, and you can make history in Memphis.
Yeah, you can. And so it was a fun tournament. Brett, you got your 61 only
got my
couple
61
days after calling it.
Does it count?
I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you. Why not?
Think it should count?
I think so. I give it to you.
I said Thursday, though.
Yeah, but to call a 61, the course record, anytime, if it happens in that tournament, I'll give it to you.
I just had that feeling, especially with their their hands on the golf ball. Didn't have that yesterday.
No.
And the score showed it.
Yeah, it did. So it was a lot of fun. I thought.
I saw 260. I saw 2 shots of the 61.
Yeah.
for Justin Rose. So what percentage would that be? I saw 1/61st of Jay Delsing back in the day. I saw a bunch of Estes.
Yeah.
None of Tom Lewis.
But you saw 2 holes yesterday or Saturday.
I saw 2 shots.
2 shots. Okay, not 2 holes.
I saw shots 60 and 61.
Oh, wow.
On 18.
Wow,
Yeah.
so you saw the last 2. Well, so that was Saturday. Me and Connor, I guess, had just gotten lunch and came back, and I think he was on 16 maybe, and there were kind of some tweets starting to come out of
the buzz was out there.
It's getting close. It's getting close.
They could pick up the golf ball yesterday. It was lift, clean, and place again.
Oh, they were touching the ball yesterday?
All 4 days. Because I was going to say that right before you said that, but I want to double check.
Oh, wow.
I think it's a joke.
I
think
too.
That's an absolute
Jay
joke
Morgan.
that you're playing in what you call the playoffs of the PGA
Playoffs.
Tour, which I love
so
that we
with
have an event here in Memphis. I'm not talking bad about it, but your playoff event can be criticized as a glorified corporate sponsorship saga. I mean, every city you go to is a corporate sponsorship event. So you can already be criticized for that. And you're playing lift, clean, and place all weekend. I just found it to be not in the spirit of what this is supposed to be, the playoffs for a season go-long event.
Let me say it again. I'm 4 square with you. Let me play the other side just for a little bit. The heat. It's so hot. If they were having to play mud balls and get rules officials over for ground under repair or whatever, the length that would take.
Yeah.
What's the counter to that?
My counter would be I did not see them lifting the golf ball to clean mud off of it. I walked 2 rounds with the same 2 guys, and it could just be that's a small sample size of everybody, but not one time did they lift the golf ball up because it had to be cleaned mud off of it. It was just like lifting it up to put the perfect lie down every time. Or get a better spot because you get your driver's length apart from where the ball is. So they're literally playing like you're playing in a scramble. And in professional golf, I just found it to be not in the taste.
I couldn't agree more. Yeah. And my comeback to what I replied with is tough toenails. You're a pro golfer.
Exactly. This is the playoffs. You're a pro golfer. This should be the highest level of competition, and we're lifting the goal. I don't like it.
Low man wins. If it causes the winning score to be 61, 63, 68, 79.
Yeah.
Too bad.
Too bad. I agree. I mean, Thursday and Friday, especially when I was out there,
totally
all
understood.
Day, completely
totally
understood it. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yes.
So I'm not criticizing it for every day, but when you get to the weekend, especially
Sunday,
and it hadn't rained. I know there was threats of rain in the area,
there was
but
that delay yesterday. But that was more lightning in the area.
It wasn't raining. It just wasn't, and it didn't rain on the grounds at all that I could notice.
Yeah.
And if it did, it was a sprinkle. It wasn't necessary.
And
it wasn't necessary.
Like at football last fall for me at the Ole Miss Tulsa game, another lengthy rain delay where you had to apply sunscreen.
Yeah, there was no rain. I was going to text you to see if you were still out there because I was out in Collierville running some errands, and I
did a soul have a drop on them?
That said,
no, I walked from. I mean, again, small sample size.
Sure.
I walked from 14 to the media tent, which is at 1, which is a large span of the course. I mean, it really is. I get a good span of the course walking from there and back.
That's about the entirety of it.
I walked there and back in the heart of the hour and a half.
Would be the entirety.
Yeah, exactly. So, and that's an hour and a half span of delay. I walked in the heart of it. I don't know how long it took me. I didn't get a speck of rain on me going there and back at all.
The wind blew.
So I don't think the wind blew at
some
first.
dark clouds.
At first.
In Millington.
Then it became cool like the morning on Saturday. And like Saturday morning, all morning was beautiful. It was super cool. Wasn't hot at all. It was a very nice round of golf. And that's what it was like during the delay. And I thought, even though they were inside and getting to cool off a bit, what a shame that the golfers had to go inside for literally the only respite from the heat all day long.
It nuked Scotty Scheffler.
Oh, yeah.
I agree. So many guys. You saw that. I was on 14 tee box, and you saw when they came out, the pins back right, so they got to go over the water to get there, and they're all playing a don't go right swing. So they just bail themselves out with their bodies and just end up left or like on the left side of the green. And that happened a lot more after the delay than it was before. Not even close.
Now, we sound like absolute fools if one person is injured, if they try to keep playing. We sound like heartless maniacs if one person is injured.
Why an hour and a half, though?
Why an hour and a half?
Yeah.
So you can't argue that. here's my contention. I don't know this. It's just my contention, and I heard rumblings of this around the weather delay last year in Oxford, where literally the sun kept shining the entire time. They're so alert to it for all the TV techs, electricians, engineers, etc., that they're radioactive. I mean, they're the biggest lightning detectors out there with all the stuff they have hooked up to them and on them, and I appreciate that and I understand that, and I wouldn't want a single person hurt or harmed. Here's the deal: pull the TV plug, keep playing.
Last year during it was definitely this game. It was when University of Miami played Middle Tennessee at home.
I was just about to bring this up.
Game was on ACC network, so it doesn't have the cachet of the SEC network. It's still fairly fledgling or whatever. And there was bad lightning in the area. Also, the game Miami lost, by the way, to MTSU at home. And so there's lightning in the area, huge delay in the game at Hard Rock Stadium. And because of that, they couldn't get the camera operators to the cameras because it was not safe with lightning. So they zoomed way out, and you just saw the whole field. And the commentators were there commentating, but it wasn't the
shots.
I see a replay.
Or half.
I see a mirror of ESPN in the room, and you can see all the close shots.
Right.
None of that stuff. Very wide, like you're watching all 22 coaches film or whatever. And like you're saying, Brett, you could do that. Put the camera on the tee box. Put the camera on the green. Boom. Or put one camera in the fairway. Boom. You got it all.
Or heaven forbid, we have no TV, but to the thousands that are there, they're not displaced.
They're not just sitting around for an hour and a half.
I also happen to notice, because you have an hour and a half to read all the signage and everything, that on all the bleachers it said, due to inclement weather, in an event of inclement weather, this is not a safe place to shelter. Stay at your own risk. I go, man, they're really bailing themselves out of a lawsuit there.
But again, in the end, everything worked out. Nobody was harmed. We had the tournament, played on, had a very late finish, and that's all that really matters. I mean, I do not want to complain, but we are very, very overly weather sensitive.
Yes, we keep an eye on the weather, that's for sure. I will.
Going back to lift, clean, and place too, Brett. I only bring that up to why that had to contribute to the 61 as well. Very much.
No question, it did.
Yeah, but
because you're getting that full club length, and they're setting it down in the perfect spot.
Oh yeah,
every time. And those guys, I mean, they're like heart surgeons. I mean, the perfect spot matters.
Oh yeah.
No mishits when they have perfect spot.
No, not at all. But I will say, when I guess Justin Rose was on probably 16, and you kind of started getting those tweets. Jason Munns was kind of following that group and tweeting, hey, we're on
4 of his first 5, too, right? He was tearing it up at the beginning.
59 matters anywhere. It really matters in Memphis.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And you're right. I mean, he came out extremely hot.
That's where everyone was making those birdies on Saturday, too, was on the front nine like that.
Yeah, except for 4 was eating guys up
you know what
on Saturday.
Bothered me yesterday, too, not to interrupt your story.
Okay.
I didn't think there was any holes, especially in the back nine, that were like, if you played conservative, like you just hit every shot and you tried to hit every green, there was just not an opportunity for these pros to bogey yesterday on the back nine.
It just what?
With the pin placements, too. Now, if you got aggressive, like some guys.
Maybe 14.
Like Mackenzie Hughes at the beginning of his round, he was like duck hooking everything. Yeah. So, like, if you're hitting shots like that where you're making your own mistakes, sure, you might make bogey. But in terms of just playing consistent golf the way these professionals can do, I didn't think there was enough opportunities to make bogey on the back nine yesterday either.
The local putt-putt's hard for me, but this has always been my contention. That second nine, that back nine at Southwind, I think is easier than the front.
Yeah.
Depending on the pin, but certainly yesterday. Because there's some days on Thursday and Friday where guys are really scoring on the front nine or the back nine. So I think the pin placement really changes that up as well in a big way, too.
But another great tournament, I mean, just think of the story of Lucas Glover, and now in the annals of a great golf history.
Absolutely, it was
a great soundbite too. He's a great talker.
He is. I mean, when you talk about kind of wanting,
he's Clemson Tiger through and through, isn't he?
Yeah, he is that. But he's a guy you want to root for. I mean, with his story and seems like a really good dude.
And I wasn't pulling for Cantlay to hit it in the water, but I was for Glover.
Oh, yeah.
And I would have preferred he just won on a birdie instead of the other guy falling apart. But I I didn't dictate that.
I also want to mention I saw him say afterwards that he was. I'm tearing up even saying it because it made me cry when he said it. He said that he was all the kids at 18. He was their champion. That was just like
it was terrific.
Yeah,
the perfect person to win the tournament.
You're absolutely right. I mean, he's a guy you want to cheer for and you want to root for.
Almost a microcosm of our very own John Goen and our golf picks. John Goen just out there all year and comes on here at the end and is going to win it.
You know, John made a good point a couple weeks ago when I was blaming him for a pick, and he said, at this point, it's just all of us against Brett. And I said, you know what, you're right. So I'm glad he won yesterday.
Now he's in first.
And takes first. But now it's all of us against him. So the roles reverse a little bit.
I'm not happy for any of you.
Yeah. Well,
I'm not anti-John.
I'm not either, but maybe now I am that he's in first place. But we'll get to some more FedEx St. Jude Championship talk in our next segment. But let me set up today's show. Before we get to top and not top story of the day, like I said, we're going to do our FedEx St. Jude Championship wrap-up in the next segment, kind of get to some other things that happened over the weekend that we didn't really have enough time to talk about in this first segment. 3:45, we'll get to some baseball. 4 o'clock, David Cobb from CBS Sports will join us to talk college football and college basketball. The AP Top 25 was officially released today. I thought there were some interesting teams and some interesting spots. So we'll have to get David Cobb's thoughts on that. And also, what will these remaining 4 teams in the Pac-12 do as we get closer and closer to the season? 4:30, we'll talk about week 1, preseason week 1, I should say, of the NFL. It was a big weekend. All the rookies in action, especially the rookie quarterbacks, talked about a lot over the weekend with their debut. So we'll get to that at 4:30. 4:45, big number of the day. 5 o'clock, Nick Suss, the Tennessee Titans beat writer for the Tennessean, will join us to talk about the Titans and their upcoming season. 5:30, we'll get to what's trending. And at 5:45, we'll wrap up today's show like we always do with Taco Bell Crunch Time. But we're sitting in the Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. The summer clearance sale going on right now at Family Leisure, and they need your help to clear out inventory. All DIY pools, $1,000 off. Special 24-foot round pool, less than $2,000. Select play gyms, only $18.99. Patio furniture up to 30% off. And spas, they're in stock and up to $1,200 off. And don't forget about the 24-month same-as-cash financing, now available only at Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40.
Our number is 901-360-8255 if you'd like to weigh in about the golf tournament or anything over the course of the weekend. 901-360-8255. He's Bryant. I'm Brett, our producer. Jay Morgan Harder, and we are Sports Time, and it's brought to you, this hour brought to you every day by Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Call them at 901-334-9673. The one and only Lexus dealership in town. Great offers on all 2023 models and always special leasing options. Drive in luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2023 flagship LS500, and you will be looking and driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design, and that makes for the luxury driving experience. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Well, my top story of the day is the FedEx St. Jude Championship and Lucas Glover winning in back-to-back weeks. It's a cool story. It's really fun to watch kind of these last couple of weeks and just how consistent he has gotten. He's changed putters, and really yesterday,
confident.
Every single time he went for a putt, I mean, it just was dead center, very consistent. A lot of pars yesterday, especially early, but that's fine when you're in the lead on day 4. Now, it did kind of come back, and he probably would have liked to have a couple of those early birdies so he didn't have to get to a playoff at the very end, but it was fun to watch. It was exciting. It made for good television for a golf tournament in the evening here in Memphis, but take all of that away, and it was just a great week out there for the city of Memphis. A lot of people, even after kind of all of the things that were going on that could maybe sway people away from going. You had the rain delay Thursday morning that we didn't get action started till 10:15. Same thing on Friday. Then Saturday you had a little regular time, but it was a little warm out there. January said it was cool in the morning. Then yesterday you have that 2-hour rain delay, hour and a half however long it was.
It was not cool yesterday morning.
No. It was not. No. It was hot yesterday. You had that rain delay, but still, people stuck around to watch the golf. It looked really good on television. I've heard great things from my buddies and family that went out there throughout the week and over the weekend. So it seemed like an overall absolute success for the FedEx St. Jude Championship, and hopefully it'll be even better next year.
I agree. Next year, this week will be golf tournament week. Next year, a week later, because of the Olympics. That's my top story. 2023 winner of the FedEx St. Jude Championship and into Memphis golf lore, and a history as deep as any non-major on the tour. That's us. Well, that winner's Lucas Glover, 2009 U.S. Open winner. He joins the people to win a major and in Memphis. That's the 25th different person that can say that out of Memphis winners on the PGA Tour. And now, look, he can go on and win the Tour Championship, be on the Ryder Cup team. What if he kept the run going this week at the BMW and at the Tour Championship? He could be Player of the Year.
Yeah.
I don't think he'll do that, but I didn't think he would do what he's done the last 2 weeks. Here's what the year's been like for him. Missed the first 3 cuts of the calendar year 2023. Missed 6 before July 1st. Didn't play in any major all year. Missed cut 2 weeks ago at the 3M in Minneapolis. Wins in Greensboro, wins in Memphis.
Not top story of the day.
My fault. Shot a 79 at Harbor Town.
Wow. That's crazy. But my not top story of the day is week 1 of the NFL preseason is behind us, and a lot of the talk over the weekend were the 3 first-round quarterback selections this year. You had C.J. Stroud go out, not play a lot in his first game, throws an interception on his first drive. Then Saturday, Anthony Richardson does the same thing, I believe on his second drive, throws an interception. He kind of settled after that. And so a lot of talk about, I should say, Bryce Young also in action over the weekend, the number 1 pick, and a lot of talk about his offensive line in front of him. I saw a graphic, I think it was in the second half of that game, that said something like, in the first half, he was sacked 5 times, got up 5 times. So, a lot
got hit hard, too.
Very
First
hard.
play of the game.
And a lot of those weren't even sacks. He got the ball out and then just got lit up. So a lot of question marks for the offensive line, but a lot of question marks for these 3 first-round quarterbacks. Obviously, it's not going to happen overnight. That transition from college to the pros is not easy, and I think a lot of people are making overreactions after one game where these guys didn't play an entire game. Most of them played about a half, and we're already getting these overreactions. So I think these guys are going to have really good careers. I think they're going to be good players, and I'm excited to see what they do kind of in their next preseason start to kind of get a little more comfortable in this league.
Rough estimate, out of the 32 starters, it looked to me like about half the teams played their legitimate starter. We know Cincinnati didn't, and we know why. And we know the Jets didn't, and we know why. Why didn't the Dallas Cowboys?
That's a good question.
How come Dak Prescott? I'm not talking about getting the Troy Aikman treatment. Why is he getting the Tony Romo treatment?
I don't know.
Dak's just not done that much to be this coddled. Now, he's going to play, and we know he's going to start opening day, but he's not coming off injury.
No.
I don't know why he
17 interceptions is a lot like an injury, though, isn't it, Brett?
I guess so.
Coming off injury to the head.
They're protecting him a little bit from more bad publicity.
My not top story, and I was so glad I got to it Saturday night and was able to watch it live, and that was the speech, his induction speech by Pau Gasol into the Basketball Hall of Fame. Just a really good story. Pau Gasol, now in the Hall of Fame, and the Gasol boys and their family, that's good folk. And Pau Gasol was our first star. We arrived as a major league town when number 16 arrived. Yeah. 5th in games played, 5th in minutes played, 4th in field goals, 5th in field goal attempts, and 4th leading scorer and 3rd leading rebounder all time in Memphis Grizzlies history. And he, number 16, should be retired. It long since should have been retired. And for a long time, they wouldn't issue it to anybody. And I don't think it was Jason Levian. In 20, I think Levian was gone, and I can't blame it on him. I might still anyway. But since he's gone, I'll probably just blame it on Hollinger. That'll do. They issued to Tony Douglas, number 16.
Dang, I guess John Lure. I thought it was maybe John Lure.
No, John Lure.
Now the Lure was 30.
Johnny Badger.
He was 30. But why did they ever issue it?
Yeah.
I can't really figure out who to blame. So if I can't blame Levin, I'll blame John Hollinger. It should have never been issued to anybody, and it should never be worn again.
Yeah.
It should be retired, and he was that kind of star.
Yeah,
Rookie of the year, too.
Yeah, it was. And
First one in the franchise because it was the first year in there,
that's
too.
true.
It's impossible.
And he was a rookie the same year with the one everybody wanted to be the Rookie of the Year,
Who's that?
the great Shane.
Yeah,
Shane Battier.
that is
Is that who was runner-up?
No, he wasn't.
I didn't think so.
interesting.
Who else would have been a rookie that year? I'm trying to think.
In 2001, I don't remember.
I'll look it up. Well, that's something to look up during the break.
Yes,
right?
it is.
But no, seeing Powell get in
With
there
the
was
great
really
Shane.
cool. Oh, the great Shane. Really cool. He kind of talked about Memphis in his speech, and also Dwayne Wade with his father was really
Very
cool
nice.
to see over the weekend. So
I love that class.
Yeah.
I like all the classes. What Dirk did for Dallas.
No, this was a really, really good class, but that'll do it for top and not top story of the day. Let's go ahead and get to our first break of the day. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about what happened this weekend at the FedEx St. Jude Championship.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company, we have it all. From handmade Amish leather belts, fine and casual clothing, boots, casual boots, work boots, fancy boots, and even safety-toed boots. Lots of cowboy hats to choose from, even Nebo lights, good-looking duck head dress shirts, duck head caps, shorts, and pants. Tons of jeans from Ariat, Wrangler, Devil Dog, and Kimes Ranch jeans. At Hewlett & Dunn, we have a great selection of Old South t-shirts and caps, fine clothing from dress to casual to Sunday best. Enjoy choosing from UFO's orthopedic approved shoes. Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company. Boots of every size, every color, every skin. Great quality Western, work, and safety toe boots. Hewlett & Dunn Boots and Clothing Company. 111 North Center Street, Collierville. Hewlett & Dunn. Hewlett & Dunn, serving you and your family since 1961.
Simple, smooth, and every sip as easy as the last. Tito's handmade vodka tastes just as good with tap water as it does with your favorite mixer. Back in the day, Tito distilled, hand-bottled, taste-tested, sent to a few friends, then taste-tested again to give you the finest juice around. No frills, no flavors, no fancy labels, just the good stuff. Just Tito's. For recipes, videos, and more, visit Tito'sVodka.com. Distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas, 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly.
What's holding you back from learning the language you've always wanted to know?
Too hard.
Takes too long.
Not with Babbel. Babbel's lessons take just 15 minutes a day.
15 minutes isn't long.
Nope. And they're fun. So you don't realize you're learning a language, but you are. In 3 weeks, you're able to start having conversations. And Babbel's lessons are built around real life.
And with Babbel, it isn't hard.
It's perfect.
Now try Babbel free. Just go to Babbel.com. That's BABBEL.com.
You want the hottest summer deals in the Mid-South? We got it at Gossett Kia on the Pike. 41 MPG Highway, we got it in 2023 Kia Forte LXS. $249 a month, $29.99 due at signing. Get SUV action in 2023 Nero EV Wind. 253 miles of EPA estimated range. $292 a month, $49.99 due at signing. Or 2023 Kia EV6 Wind with up to 134 city, 101 highway MPGE. Only $425 a month, $49.99 due at signing. All 36-month leases. Plus, Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Ask for Bobby J. He's ready to put you in a new Kia today. Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, or online, KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 650 acquisition fee, 30,000 miles, 20 cents excess mileage. Forte PE 659,993. MSRP 22,540. Nero P 501,5237. MSRP 41,390. EV6 P 560, 3393. MSRP 50,200. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax out license with approved credit. See dealer for details. Offer valid through 9523. Dealer stock only warranties. A limited powertrain warranty. See Kia.com or retailer for details.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. We talked a lot about the FedEx St. Jude Championship to start the show, but it really was a fun weekend. Lucas Glover going back-to-back on the PGA Tour and winning the first playoff event here in Memphis. But we talked a little bit about Justin Rose and that 61. And, I worked up here on Saturday, so I get home. Like I said earlier, they're about on 16 or so. Those tweets are coming in.
Me.
I texted you. We're on 16 watch. And it was about the time where it was on ESPN Plus in the morning, and we had been watching it that morning, and then they were about to make the switch to Golf Channel. And so we're watching it, and I'm like, they've got to start talking about Justin Rose at some point. I mean, he's on pace to
That's when I got
break
to
the
18.
record. Yeah, and so they don't say anything about it. I think they might have mentioned one thing about it. He's playing really well today, but no mention of the course record. I go, okay, well, maybe they don't know about it, but Golf Channel will talk about it, because I'm like, this is a big deal. He's about to have the course record. And so Golf Channel gets on. Of course, they immediately go to Glover. They go to Spieth. They're on the leaders. They're talking about a lot of other guys. All of a sudden, I'm getting tweets. Justin Rose has just tied the course record. I'm like, they're not talking about it. 5 minutes later, they show his putt on 18, and one person on Golf Channel mentions this for the course record or something like that, and that's all they said about it.
Really?
And I was very disappointed. Maybe they came back and talked about it a little bit later.
Well, you gotta think that's also more meaningful.
That's what I thought. Afterwards.
I don't really care if someone breaks the course record in Saskatchewan or
exactly.
whatever.
That's why I started thinking
after
this probably doesn't mean anything.
Saskatchewan Open's big.
That's how you
know what color jacket they get, don't you?
Red?
No green, just like
red.
that.
I see. But yeah, I mean, it's that's probably not as big to somebody in Atlanta or in Arkansas that he broke a course or tied a course record in Memphis.
I will say I'm walking with Sepp Straka and Wyndham Clark, poor guys in last place.
Oh man,
poor group.
U.S. Open winner, almost dead last.
Tell you what, great group to be be in last place though. First thing in the morning, you can really great. I mean, they're talking to very great insight, and they went to Georgia. I think together they were at Georgia, so good buddies too. A great camaraderie between the two.
Hunker down.
That's right. It was a lot of fun. But I say that because I got one ear in. I'm listening to the PGA Tour live,
right?
And so I hear what's going on around the course.
Smart, you know what's going on everywhere.
And they were raving about Justin Rose because that was early in the morning. He's just starting, and he is tearing up the front nine.
And it was just after Thursday was when he was like 6 over after the first round.
Yeah. So he is tearing up the front nine, and that's the first I caught wind of it was on PGA Tour Live. But there also is less going on at that point in time. Guys like Lucas Glover aren't playing yet. So that kind of gives Golf Channel an out too. But at least PGA Tour Live was raving about him.
And for Sepp Straka, do you think he likes here last year lose that heartbreaker in the playoff?
And this year
show
up at all.
I know he shot 5 under yesterday.
That's true.
I mean,
but on Friday, he left the golf course, and Dave told us about it when Dave joined us. He left reeling. I mean, he was staggering like a wounded boxer. The heat had gotten him so badly.
He almost fainted
yesterday. Good Lord.
He wasn't alone. No. Friday was one of the scorchers of all. I mean, it was top 5 all time at the golf tournament.
Oh, yeah. Easily. But, yeah, we didn't know. Dave this morning was talking about it, and he was like, Sepp Straka, did he finish in last place? And I was like, I don't know, Dave. I'll have to look. And you're right, a huge round yesterday.
No, he played real well. He played really well yesterday.
And some of the real field temperature numbers bandied about from Friday, I mean, just covers everything from 100 to 125, it felt like.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, it's something. I mean, real field, 120. Come on now.
I don't know. It's hot out there.
It was.
It was warm. But it was
global boiling.
Yeah, I felt it. I felt it when the sun was out. I tell you what. I don't know if we contributed to it this weekend, but
and that's why I sound like I sound, going from 120 to 60.
Man. Oh yeah, no, it was brutal out there. But still, I said it earlier. I said it on Friday. Surprised with the crowds, with how just brutally hot it was out there Friday, and another hot one yesterday.
No, I want to be very positive about the tournament. Here was my read on the crowds. Y'all tell me if y'all agree, and I want to hear from people. If you disagree, if you saw more than I did. And I was out and about. I thought Thursday was a really good crowd. Friday, extraordinary crowd. Saturday, a little lean. Sunday, great.
Yeah. See, I can't. I mean, I wasn't there over the week. I just saw it on TV, and you don't get a great shot of the crowds on television.
Any confirmation out there from anybody, let us know at 901-360-8255.
I'm afraid I don't have a good gauge for that either. I know it was crowded when
I'm not saying I got the perfect gauge either.
Well, Saturday, I know when I walked with Straka and Wyndham Clark, first group of the day. So they finished, I guess it was about 11 on Saturday.
Yeah, that sounds right.
And that was right when the leaders were teeing off, right around that time
And the weather was mild Saturday.
And so, and our media tent is right by number 1. So I know walking from 18 to the media tent, sure felt like there was a lot of people there. But I understand they all conglomerate in that area for the most part.
How did I not see you?
I don't know. I was mostly, like I said, I walked in the morning, then I was inside in one of the
Now what I just kind of assumed is after Friday's broiler.
Yeah.
A lot of people said no mas.
Could be.
Very
well, Sunday I think that happened too. I noticed that after the rain delay. I think a lot of people that didn't have like shelter were like, I don't really want to sit out here.
It's so hard. I mean,
it's so hot. It was cooler during that time, but like you said, sitting outside with no place to go for an hour and a half. They're also not serving booze because
everything shut down.
If you have to cancel, you can't be handing out alcohol to people. That's just a terrible idea. And so they have to shut down booze sales. So that probably contributes to people like, well, I'm going home, man. I don't want to sit here for an hour and a half.
Let me go back to to criticizing the delay that you had to apply sunscreen during. Again, nobody got hurt.
Right.
So that's
kind
of all's well that ends well.
Sure.
So, what's an hour and 40 minutes among friends?
That is true.
And especially we got Jim Nance there to welcome friends.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
That's right.
But it was...
I'm more upset about the lift clean place.
Yeah. But, I mean, it was...
I am too.
When I saw the...
And our disdain for 17 as a whole.
I don't like that.
I would like to get a sub-moisture plow and run it right down the middle of it.
So bad. I'll tell you what, though, Wyndham Clark, it was hilarious. Not for him. God bless him. He had a tough day. He hit a ball left on 17. That's the only way you can make 17 hard is you hit a bad shot yourself. Yeah. So he hits the ball left. Dead. And so literally every person that had a house down the 17 fairway is out walking their property line.
Including John Harden. That's his house.
Looking for Wyndham Clark's ball, including Sepp, both caddies. All the marshals, everybody looking for this ball. Yeah. It was a wild scene. He had a provisional. He ended up hitting the provisional, but nonetheless.
I think I would like to see 17 and 18 eased up a little where we could have more birdie drama finish.
Yeah.
You know what stat I don't like, speaking of 18, is every year. Number of balls in the last 10 years.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
It's a manufactured number. I mean, God bless it. It's
worse than war.
It's very cool. It really is, though. Yeah. It's a manufactured number. Mm-hmm. It's not like I'm not a fan of it. Not a fan of it.
Yeah.
I'll just leave it there.
But the last 3
because I love the tournament, too. I feel like I'm criticizing all over the place. But these are just things that I notice.
Big success.
These are things that when I compare it to maybe other tournaments, I like that and those things better. But I do love the golf tournament. It's better than it's ever been.
Last 3 years.
Great playoffs. Yeah. The best fields we've ever had. I mean
70 best
I walk with the guys in last place. One of them just won a major championship.
A U.S. Open.
A U.S. Open. Yeah. So, I mean, it's an unbelievable field. You can't beat it.
I think I left out Hideki Matsuyama from that 2021 playoff with Sam Burns and Abraham Answer. Mm-hmm. And I guess Abraham Answer, winner in 2021, and Brooks Koepka, winner in 2019, will be here next year.
Oh, yeah.
You have to think so.
Almost have to.
Yeah.
And I asked that question rhetorically about Sepp Straka. What do you think Rory's Memphis experiences are? Pounded by Koepka in 2019 on Sunday, and then kind of bridesmaid yesterday.
Yeah,
he's too European for this kind of golf, Brett.
He's not built for it.
I don't know if that's true. I don't know if it gets humid. Does it get humid in he's from Scotland.
I've never been. Ireland.
I've never been.
Does it get humid in Ireland? I don't think so.
Don't know.
It's around a lot of water. It's reasonable to assume.
He never has a day over there like Friday.
No.
Because that was special kind of hot.
That's right.
No.
Maybe that's it. Maybe that could be it. Because it's not, it's not one of these courses that is designed with where the layout requires certain type of shot. You just play consistent fairly conservative golf, you can shoot a real good score at Southwind, as a lot of people do. So it is peculiar a player of his caliber hadn't been able to break through here. I guess one year early on, he had top 10 finishes. Top
2019, he kept going.
Right.
Last group, and Koepka dropped a bomb on him.
And then he was good when it was still the Classic.
It was.
He was good when it was still the Classic, but that's a whole different caliber of field as well.
That's true. So, Brett, I guess Jay Morgan too, because y'all would know more than I do, but I've heard a lot of people talk about could Lucas Glover be on the Ryder Cup team? I mean,
go with the hot hand. Why not?
I think so too.
I think for sure.
Think so. So who's out? Who doesn't make it?
I don't think they've.
But I'm saying if he makes
6
it,
automatics,
who doesn't make it?
6 captain choices.
Right.
I think Justin Thomas has played his way out.
That's the one I was wanting one of y'all to say.
Keegan Bradley close.
Yeah.
He spits too much for me too. Have y'all noticed that?
I've not.
He's always spitting.
Interesting.
I don't know if he's
like a baseball player
dipping, but he spits too much.
Huh?
Maybe it's just excess saliva. You got to save that up in the heat, like on a day like Friday. You need all that saliva.
But one thing I will always like about Keegan Bradley is when he almost came to blows on the course with Miguel Angel Jimenez. That would have been a great golf fight. Because Jimenez would have pulled a switchblade out of that ponytail. You know he's got one hidden up in there.
Somewhere up there.
Speaking of great golf names like that, too, that had stories here, I remember I heard a story that Boo Weekley, who's, just one of the funniest people. If you ever put a microphone in front of that guy, he is just good old boy as it comes. I
think he laid it on a little for affectation.
I tell you what, I saw a video of him just last week where he's sitting at a computer. He goes, "They don't teach rednecks how to use computers." So he's sitting around like that.
He plays well to that.
And so I think it had to be 18. Maybe it was one of the par 3. I'm not sure. But anyway, he was by a lake at Southwind, and he asked his caddy, he goes, "What do you think they would do if I just jump in one of these lakes right here?" And he just wanted to jump in and go for a little dive. It was so hot out. On Friday, I bet a few players contemplated jumping in that water.
Friday, after we finished at 6, and Brian and I getting the equipment back to my car, man, that was a mountain.
It was hot. I was glad to get on the media shuttle, and they had the AC blowing in there because it was a hot one.
But tournament officials do such a good job. They work so hard, and they got to pull this thing off, and they got 4 or 5 days to pull it off in, and they do. It's amazing.
And they've got to find a way to pull it on despite the rain, heat, all of it.
My thing, the controllables. Yeah. And what they control, they do so well, and then they got to pray for good luck then.
Yeah. So very impressive, and I know some people were a little disappointed with kind of the later starts, but for them to be able to kind of make it work and make it work so well was impressive to see.
Do you guys know a lot of these employees travel with the tour?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So that's their job. They go around from city to city. Yeah, they're roadies.
There was somebody working in the hub, I guess at like the little bar or something, that they said she had done a live event.
That's what I found out. It's most of the bartenders work every event.
Yeah.
They travel town to town. That's like how they make their living.
So nice lady in our area that was nice enough. You can always go over and get. And if you're not getting a drink, you can always go over and get a water or a Pepsi or something, and say I'm the DJ.
Yeah.
And they always take care of us. So I stop, and they don't advertise with us, but I love them, and they're great. I stop at East End one night to eat, and she's in there.
Oh wow!
And I got her tab because she had been so good to me all day, giving me water and Pepsis.
Yeah. That's awesome.
And she told me, she said, it's town to town, live, tour. Yeah.
That's so interesting.
It is interesting.
My cousin does work like that.
Yeah.
He works for a company called Ingress Events, and he does security where they do live events. They go town to town. He worked the NCAA tournament at the Final Four.
Yeah.
So they'll go like place to place. He does tons of stuff in like Dallas, like Super Bowls. Bowl games, all kinds of bowl games. You name it.
SEC championship game.
They need security.
There's all these companies go town to town to travel, and who I never considered, because there's so many volunteers that work the event. I had never considered how many of the people are roadies, like you said. That's something else.
And this young lady is from Hawaii.
Really?
Interesting.
Wow.
But from the Big Island. Yeah.
Sad news over there.
Real sad.
It's awful. I think up to 98 or something like that this morning I saw. It's just awful.
How about this? So we don't have to end on such a somber tone
please.
like
Thank
that.
you. Saved us.
Instead of a high hard one, I've got an idea because it's not really high or hard. It's just like a quick one.
Low curveball.
It's just a quick one.
Kind of a center cut fastball.
Sure. Yeah.
Sure.
I don't know. This one could be. I saw this question though. It was asked of Ronald Acuna Jr. and I thought it was a very interesting question. Who is faster, Mr. Freeze? The guy that racetracks for the Freeze that runs on the Braves games, or Ronald Acuna Jr.?
Ronald Acuna.
It has to be, right? Not even
Can
close.
we get them to race one day?
I think that's a great idea.
I mean, I think
Until Ronald Acuna tears a hamstring doing it.
Yes, but maybe like an off.
Maybe an off-season,
Maybe like a great promotional for the Braves.
The Freeze might not be in form in the off-season. Just like a
point.
player, he's in season, out of season.
How about the Bravos? 33 over 500.
What a team.
Crazy.
Maybe the greatest regular season team of all time, pending maybe the greatest Braves team of all time, what happens in the postseason.
A lot pending.
Did you see what happened to him last night?
I did. They gave that
Night
away.
Baseball. Woo! 6 runs in the 5th inning. My first 5 over.
Yeah, I had my notes made for 35 over 500 until that last night.
Oh, geez.
Saw a boosted bet for Braves and over 9.5, and I did not expect that one of those sides not to get there, I'll tell you.
Crazy. Well, let's go ahead and get to a break. When we come back, we will talk some more baseball.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Visit Frontier Western Store today for new shirts and boots. Frontier is your top Carhartt store in the Mid-South. There's thousands of in-stock shirts and jeans. They have the classic K87 pocket tee in every color they make, including new ones just released. Available small to 4X. Want new jeans? Frontier has you covered with super tough work denim by Carhartt. And you've got to check out their selection of Ariat jeans for men, women, and children. You'll love how easy it is to find the size and style you need. Have you seen Frontier's remodeled world-famous boot showroom? It continues to expand. New styles by Ariat just arrived, plus plenty of in-stock proven classics too. Whether you need work or dress boots, trust that Frontier's the place to come. See thousands of pairs of Ariat boots and thousands more by Dan Post, Corral, Durango, Rocky, Twisted X, and others. And Frontier's pricing is lower than online and chain stores, so you know just the local shop to visit. Frontier Western Store, 5880 Goodman Road in Olive Branch, and on the web at frontierwesternstore.com. Locally owned and operated since 1967.
Five Ash Roofing, it's what we do. Roofing and siding, gutters too. We're the pros you can trust to get it done right. Call on us. Five Ash Roofing, the name to know. Five Ash Roofing, the only way to go. Five Ash Roofing, it's what we do. Five Ash Roofing.
Is that not the corniest thing you've ever heard? Can you believe I paid good money for that silly jingle? Well, the experts say make it memorable, and I think I got my money's worth. Five Ash Roof Services, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. Five Ash Roofing, 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Did you know a percentage of accidents are because people are texting and driving at the same time? If you've been hit by a driver texting and not paying attention to the road, call the law offices of Arthur Horn III. You probably know them for their big cases, but they know your case is big too. Let them represent you. Join the winning team at the law offices of Arthur Horn III. Call today, Arthur Horn III, 901-331-1816. That's 901-331-1816. And please, don't text and drive. Are you ready to conquer the great outdoors? Come in today and gear up with the dependable Suzuki King Quad ATV, because there's no rest for the rugged. Its unparalleled combination of power, versatility, and reliability allow you to tackle the toughest terrains with ease. And right now, there are lots of ways to help you hit the trail, including low APR financing and low monthly payments for qualified buyers, discounts for the military and first responders, and more. Roll into Olive Branch Motorsports in Olive Branch, Mississippi, and experience the Suzuki King Quad ATV's unmatched capabilities today.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. Okay, easy now. You're teaching your kid how to parallel park. Ouch! Turns out he likes to do it by feel. Don't worry, eBay Motors has bumpers, taillights, trunk lids, license plate holders, 122 million parts. Pull up just a little bit. And headlights. They've got lots of headlights. Get the right parts at the right prices. eBay Motors. Let's ride.
Grapevine Liquor and Wine has the largest selection of bourbon in North Mississippi and wines from all over the world. Let Jimmy the Delta Boy help you select the perfect spirit or wine to impress. Whether you're looking for the best price or a certain flavor profile, Grapevine Liquor and Wines has it. If you want good southern treatment and the hottest prices, Grapevine Liquor and Wine. Getwell Road, South Haven.
Hotty toddy, gosh almighty, where do you get your bourbon? Flim flam, bim bam, Grapevine, by damn.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
So it was an eventful weekend in Major League Baseball, and don't look now because the Seattle Mariners are back in the wild card
They were
picture.
really hot for a second
They were
there, but they're still
2-3 this weekend, but still kind of rolling. Keep that in mind. I might have a big number about the Mariners.
Who do we want
later.
to get that last AL wild card?
The Mariners.
I think I do too.
I know unless they jump another spot and they're 2, and then you got to talk about somebody else.
Or the Guardians.
I'm afraid the Guardians are done.
They're done.
I think so too.
I at the beginning of this segment, like right when
That's who that last one would play Minnesota 3 versus 6.
I felt very selfish for bringing up the Mariners.
Well, right when we came back, I was going to interrupt you and say I have breaking news, and then I thought better of it and stopped myself, and I'm like, I don't know if this qualifies as breaking news because, who cares at this point in the season? Nonetheless, I'm going to say it. Steven Matz, who has arguably been the Cardinals' best pitcher since the trade deadline, has been placed on a 15-day DL with a left lat strain. He's not going to pitch for the next 2 weeks.
You know what the lat is, don't you?
Isn't that this?
I thought it was love
I
muscle.
can't say this on the radio. This is a description. My side, like my atlas side.
Love muscle.
Love muscle, like your love handles?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that, your side there, your lat. I think that's right. I hope if the doctor's listening, please
correct us, 901. Yeah.
Do I have lats?
I think so. I think we all do. It's
have
a
I
muscle.
strained them with coughing?
Perhaps you
close.
could.
I don't know.
I've heard of people straining
Yeah, I
muscles
have too.
coughing before. And sneezing.
Oh, sneezing. I've heard
How about that?
Several.
I've coughed where I was afraid I was going to strain more than lats.
Bust a lung? I don't know if someone's done that. If they have, I apologize. That's insensitive of me.
I'm going to make a bold statement. Y'all ready?
Please.
I can't prove this either. But it's talk radio. You don't have to be prove everything.
We just asked a doctor to tell us what a lat is.
I'm going to say on August 14th, the Cardinals and the Yankees both at the same time on August 14th have both been in last place in their division.
I would have to agree. You're right, because neither one of them is very bad very often, and even fewer times were they very bad at the same time. So I would have to say if I was a betting man, Brett, I would probably say you're right.
And divisions go back. They first came in '69, so then it was just blank. Just kind of the whole.
Is that right?
The whole league, yeah.
So what was it before that? Just everybody plays everybody.
Winner of the American League went to the World Series. Winner of the National League went to the World Series.
Everybody's ranked against everybody else.
It was 1 through about 9 or so.
Interesting. Wow. Different leagues, obviously, but no. I guess there was no need for divisions when you only got 9 teams, like conferences.
And I would almost guarantee they both weren't then. But I don't think they have been since the 4 divisions and now the 6 divisions.
Yeah, I agree with you. And your predictions have been really good lately, so I'll...
been really close. I'm almost there. Kind of the story of my life, almost.
So what would that be in this case? It happened once for one day in 1971.
I'm just saying on August 14th. I'm saying this late in the year.
I think so.
I would say never. Now, I'm sure on the third day of the season they probably have been.
I mean, earlier, I forgot if it was with Dave or John, and we were talking about the idea that the Yankees could miss the playoffs, and I was like, the Yankees missing the playoffs? Like that's crazy talk.
And I'm going to say both Yankees and Red Sox missing playoffs.
Oh, that's crazy.
Once in about the last 25, 26 years.
Easy. I mean, it's
just not very often.
There's a good chance it happens.
Toronto is the 6th seed right now. They're the 3rd wild card.
I can't stand Toronto.
I don't wish them.
Why is that?
I'm just not a huge fan of them.
Is there like a particular
contempt for
reason?
Canada?
No,
yeah, do you hate Canadians?
No, I don't hate Canadians.
And that would be bold because that's the nicest people ever.
Yeah,
and
no,
Seattle's so close to Canada. They're very similar.
Yeah, but I mean, there's kind of been a rivalry
those
between
winners?
the Mariners and Toronto, so maybe that's a
You
little
want to throw
bit
down
of
with
it.
Canada?
Could be.
No, I don't
Toronto and Seattle came in together in 70.
You're supposed to say you don't like Houston, Brian.
I don't like Houston at all.
Is that right?
I said that. I said that.
I like Houston.
I said that with John earlier. John was like, "Who do we want to win the division? The Rangers or the Astros?" I go, "I hate the Astros. I want the Rangers to win." I didn't tell him that I also have a secret love for the Rangers all my life. So
Jonah Heim just came off the DL yesterday too, didn't he? And they sent down Sam Huff. That's breaking news.
And I heard Dave the other day talking about, and you weren't familiar with the name, and I no reason why you should be, one of the great moments in Ranger history. For a long time, it was voted number one, but I'm sure going to 2 World Series has eclipsed it. But they drafted from Houston the can't-miss left-hander, David Clyde, and started him. He'd never gone to the minors. They brought him up immediately, started him one of the at that time, one of their biggest crowds right after they had moved to Dallas-Fort Worth, and he ended up not making it. But his brother, Steve Clyde, played football at Arkansas and was a tight end, and I think David had pretty much bombed out, but would come to Fayetteville to games.
Really?
And I met him, and just almost nobody knew who he was and remembered him, but I did it, and it was sad. He wanted to be remembered.
Clyde, C-L-Y-D, is this the guy?
David Clyde. He was 18, right out of high school give me a high school in Houston.
I just saw it. It starts with a W.
Stafford?
Westchester.
Well, okay.
Westchester.
I wasn't even close. But left-hander can't miss badly.
Billed as the next Sandy Koufax.
Yeah, we didn't get close to that. Does it mention his brother Steve that played football at Arkansas?
I'm sure if I scroll down here, it will.
Steve was a pretty good tight end and a really nice guy.
Personal life, Actually, you know what? No, it doesn't.
Interesting.
Update Wikipedia for him.
I wish I could. No, they hold that close to them now.
Steve Clyde was old number 80.
Really?
I'm sure Steve Clyde has his own page. Let's go find it.
I doubt. He wasn't that good.
He was there, though, so maybe. Probably not, though. But, yeah, no, we're starting to kind of get to the point in the baseball season. Does he have a page?
Sure does.
Wow.
You're kidding me. What's he
doing? 7 receptions in 1979. What a year. 63 yards that year. 9 yards of reception. 2 tutties.
Whoa.
79 was the year, his first year. And a little bit of a downhill from that. In 80, he only had 1 reception all year, but it was a touchdown. 17 yards scored.
Memphis and Tommy Christianberry was getting his playing time then.
Wow.
The great Tommy Christianberry.
And then in 81, he caught 1 32-yard pass. And that was the only pass he caught all year.
Does it show what number he wore?
Sure will if I look up. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. Huh. It doesn't.
That's okay.
I'll look up. Brett, just give me 1 minute here. I'll find it.
We went deep down
We sure did down the rabbit hole. But we really are kind of getting to the point in the year where, I mean, if you're gonna make something happen before the playoffs start, you need to start making it happen now. And so you're kind of seeing some of those teams get into wild card contention. Some of them start falling out of wild card contention.
I will say it again, and I will say it to the last day of the regular season. I've loved this baseball season with my team, no factor after the 3rd day of the year.
And I saw people were tweeting today that attendance is up 9% this year. So, I mean, it's not just us who love baseball that are saying this year has been really, really good. It's the general public.
The people are with us.
Yeah, the people are with us. The people that in past years, I do too.
I hate being anti the people.
Yeah, but I mean, it's the people who in past years just haven't gone to games are going now because they see something this year and they
see Zach Martin's in camp.
I did. We're getting close to the season.
Yeah.
People are starting to work things out now. Ezekiel
people with those
Elliott,
game checks.
Yeah, and now Ezekiel Elliott on breaking news. I'm sure we'll talk about this a little later when we talk NFL, but he's agreed to a 1-year deal with the Patriots. So that's interesting. They get a running back. But let's go ahead and get to a break, wrap up this hour. When we come back, David Cobb from CBS Sports, he'll join us to talk some college football and college basketball.
Is your roof leaking? Do you have water damage on your ceiling of your home or business? Do you need assistance gathering much-needed data and images from your storm-damaged roof for an insurance claim? Call Metro Builders, roof and restoration specialists, and schedule your free inspection. At Metro Builders, our team of Hague-certified technicians and fully trained estimators are ready to come out and evaluate any concerns you may have. Metro Builders Roof and Restoration. We accept all insurance carrier scopes. Call Metro Builders now. Each and every day we provide clients many different types of data and estimates for their insurance carrier. These include estimate and photo reports of all damage, from the roof to water damage on rafters and ceilings and even studs and plates inside walls. Check out the local BBB for our 27-year history in construction in Memphis, or check us out online today at metrobuildersmemphis.com. That's metrobuildersmemphis.com for your local residential and commercial roofing and restoration experts. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717.
All 650 acquisition fee, 30,000 miles, 20 cents excess mileage, Forte PE 659,993, MSRP 22,540, Nero P 501,5237, MSRP 41,390, EV6 P 560,3393, MSRP 50,200, includes all rebates and incentives, must finance through Hyundai, excludes tax and license with approved credit. See dealer for details, offer valid through 9/5/23. Dealer stock only, warranties, a limited powertrain warranty. See Kia.com or retailer for details. I got Jeff Allen on the line. Hey, what's the scoop over there at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah?
Randy, we got deals everyone wants. How about 41 MPG Highway, 2023 Kia Forte LXS, $249 a month, $29.99 due at signing.
Hey, Jeff, give me some EV scoop.
2023 Nero EV Win, 253 miles of EPA estimated range, $292 a month. And a 2023 Kia EV6 Win with up to 134 city, 101 highway MPGe, only $425 a month, both $49.99 due at signing, all 36-month lease.
And Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty to boot.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah.
2680 Mount Moriah or KiaMountMoriah.com.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
You can host the best backyard barbecue when you find a professional on Angie to make your backyard the best around. Connect with skilled professionals to get all your home projects done well. Inside to outside, repairs to renovations. Get started on the Angie app or visit Angie.com today. You can do this when you Angie that.
There's an institution in East Memphis that I love talking about. It's the Spirit Shop at 4848 Poplar Avenue, right down the street from Clark Tower, and it looks like a log cabin. It's been around Memphis since 1969 with a family-owned, friendly, knowledgeable sales staff that is just a wonderful place to go. I love going in and talking wine or bourbons, and they've got such great selection. So if you've not visited the Spirit Shop in a while, it's been remodeled. You'll love what you see when you need spirits. Tell Eddie Wollo said hello.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home at Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village.
Ole Miss Rebel Yell is back. The Rebel Yell Hotline Radio Show is back on WHBQ Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Every Monday night at 6, hear the latest news on your Ole Miss Rebels with Yancey Porter with 24/7 Sports, former Ole Miss defensive tackle Mike Fitzsimmons, Gordon Ford covering SEC Sports Call, and former Ole Miss baseball announcer Gary Darby. From kickoff to free throw to extra innings, your Ole Miss Sports on the Rebel Yell Hotline Show right here Monday night at 6 on Sports 56, 560 AM and 98.5 FM. Your Mid-South Sports Station.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253 DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant Dacus, Brett Norsworthy, Jay Morgan Harder with you. And joining us now from CBS Sports, he joins us every Monday afternoon to talk college football and college basketball. David Cobb joins us now. David, thanks for joining us. Obviously, a lot of talk the last week about these 4 remaining schools in the Pac-12, Stanford, Cal, Oregon State, and Washington State. It looked like for a second maybe Cal and Stanford would go to the ACC, but now it does not look like that's going to happen. What do you think ultimately happens to these 4 teams that are just kind of in limbo right now?
Yeah, they are in limbo. They're twisting in the wind, and there's no telling where that wind is going to take them. What I wish would happen is that they could join the ACC. I'm talking all 4, not just Stanford and Cal.
Yeah.
Either join the ACC or Big 12 for football only. And then the rest of their sports can be more regionalized. I mean, that's got to be where this whole thing ends up eventually. Football can fly charter 4 or 5 times a year across the country without a whole lot of inconvenience. They can be back in time for class on Monday. They can deal with a 5-hour flight because it's going to be on a nice charter plane with leather seats and reclining chairs and all that. Where it doesn't make any sense for Cal and Stanford to join the ACC or for Oregon and State and Washington State to join another conference is all the other sports, including basketball. That's the travel. I think we're going to find out over these next couple of years. It's almost going to be impractical for most of these other sports aside from football to do all this traveling. And where we got to end up is in a place where football conferences are one thing, but that the rest of college sports remains more regionalized. And I don't know what it takes to get there. There's just no leadership in the sport right now and in college sports in general. But that's where it's got to end up in the short term, though. It looks like the AAC might be the best bet for Stanford and Cal, just due to the TV rights situation with the Mountain West, and the fact is, like, the Pac-12 is not going to retain its Power 5 designation as much as they might like for it to.
David, I'm with you, but I have this question for both Cal and Stanford. Do y'all just not ever spend any of that endowment? Is it just to watch it go up?
I know Stanford's got plenty. Stanford has plenty in that endowment. Cal, not as much, and I think that athletic department hasn't been on the best financial footing to begin with. And now you talk about taking away Power 5 TV revenue and going down to Group of 5 TV revenue. That Cal athletic department, man, if I were the assistant softball coach there right now, I'd be worried. It's going to get ugly. You know, a lot of that doomsday talk we heard around college athletics during COVID-19 that we were largely, not fully, but largely able to avoid once we got football back up and running. I mean, that's the reality now for those 4 leftover Pac-12 schools, because you're talking about a reduction in your overall budget of 50% or more with the loss of this TV revenue. And then what accompanies that is a loss of fan interest, because now all of a sudden you're trying to sell tickets, hypothetically at least, for a game against San Diego State or a game against UNLV.
Yeah, if they won't go see USC, they're not going to go see UNLV.
Exactly. So it's tough. Like, for Oregon State in particular, you're talking about a team that has a chance to win the Pac-12 this year. And now all of a sudden they're being kicked to the curb, left behind. And even for Stanford, I mean, you go back less than a decade ago, they were a bounce or two away from being in the college football playoff a couple of times under David Shaw. And now they're all of a sudden one of these left-behind schools, which is just bizarre.
Yeah, but when your mission statement is it matters, it just doesn't matter that much now with the double whammy between COVID and the changing landscape, maybe it should have mattered more to you.
Yeah, there's a number of errors that the Pac-12 made, many of which I outlined in a very long article. If you're interested in a full timeline of how the Pac-12 fell apart at CBS. And one of those errors that the Pac-12 made was jumping on the coattails of the Big Ten and canceling the 2020 season prematurely.
Really dumb decision.
And in the end, they tried to bring it back and play 5 games. Well, they did. They played 5 games starting in November, but it was not a fruitful season for the league in terms of on-the-field results. USC was the only team that finished ranked in 2020 from the Pac-12, and they were not highly ranked by any stretch. So that season only compounded the competitive issues that the conference was facing, and it certainly didn't help them getting to this point, which is essentially having disintegrated into the Pac-12 or that entity may not exist. Like, obviously it's not going to exist in its former glory, but it may not exist at all unless they're able to figure out some, harebrained method of getting 10 to 12 teams to join the remaining 4.
Yeah. I saw a list, I can't remember where it was, maybe The Athletic, that it was kind of like 9 options for the remaining 4 teams in the Pac-12. And for selfish reasons, obviously, here in Memphis and going to Memphis and being a fan of the Tigers, I would love to see those 4 teams in the American. But when you kind of look at it, you talked about maybe joining one of these conferences like the Big 12 in the ACC in football and then joining another conference or doing something else for those other sports. Could you see these 4 schools going independent for football and then joining kind of a conference on the West Coast for all their other sports?
Yeah, I think that makes sense for Stanford and Cal.
Yeah.
Oregon State and Washington State, I don't know if that's financially feasible, and I think they would be good fits in the Mountain West. Again, still talking about a drastic reduction in revenue. Notre Dame's really the only team out there that can make a competitive amount on media rights as an independent. I mean, if Alabama decided to drop out of the SEC, I'm sure they could do it too, right? But never going to happen. Even still, Notre Dame being the national brand that it is, their TV rights payout is not on the level of the Big Ten or the SEC. So you talk about a brand like Stanford or Cal, their TV rights still would be a tenth of what Notre Dame's is, so they could survive doing it. As you mentioned, Brett, there's endowments at those schools, especially at Stanford.
And after a quick Google search, you're right, Cal does not have anything approaching the $38 billion in endowment that Stanford has. They have to make it on a paltry $9 billion. Here's my advice to both of them. Hey, especially at Cal, instead of bankrolling Patty Hearst's grandkids coming to college, get serious about sports or shut up.
I know. And for those schools, too, it doesn't help. Like, basketball is sort of the undercurrent in all this. It's not what we're seeing or what's driving the boat, but, if the Pac-12 had been more competitive in basketball, that's another thing that might have helped it stay together. Cal has been woeful. They've been one of the worst
and proud of it.
Yeah, they've been one of the worst Power 5 basketball programs in the country. Stanford chose to continue on with Jared Haas after this past season when they missed the NCAA.
Stayed with Johnny D too long.
And they've slipped into irrelevance. At a time, they had the Lopez twins. They were a good basketball program. They had their moments. They've sort of opted out of being competitive.
And we get lectured to by Dr. Rice all the time about there at Stanford. We've got the correct athletics to academics mindset, and it just doesn't mean that much to us. Well, okay, the bus left without you.
And honestly, all joking aside, from a vision standpoint, from a values perspective, Stanford and Cal might be a better fit in Division III. And I know there's probably a large section of their alumni and their fan base that doesn't want to hear that. But if you really think about the things that are important to those universities and to their presidents and their chancellors and their board of trustees, really going D3 might be the better option there. And look at Sewanee. They were one of the most powerful college football programs of the early 20th century. They
didn't like what the future looked like for them.
And they made a decision that they were going to go a different direction. And it doesn't make the alums of Sewanee any less proud to be an alum of Sewanee. Do we see them on TV every Saturday? No. Do they have a miniature golf course surrounding their football practice field? No. But I mean, they're still a thriving, functioning, high-performing academic institution.
You could say the same for University of Chicago. You could say I've talked about it in early days of the Cotton Bowl. Marquette football, the Golden Flashes playing in Cotton Bowls. In the early 50s, the University of San Francisco with arguably one of the greatest running backs football had seen at that time in Ollie Matson. Some things fall through the cracks and change.
They do. And when you think about the other headwinds facing Stanford and Cal, it makes even more sense to think about dropping down because before the Pac-12 broke apart and disintegrated, Stanford and Cal already faced almost insurmountable challenges in the sense of they're never going to be on the level of USC or Oregon in terms of their collective. They're always going to struggle to get in transfers because of the academic standards. And then also the graduate, like 5th and 6th year senior trend that has really become a huge part of college sports after COVID, that was going to be tough for them too, because those students, after they graduate as undergrads at Stanford or Cal, they have to be able to get into the graduate school, and that is not an automatic either. So they were already facing really tough challenges, and now you add in the conference falling apart, and I got to believe there's some conversations being had among the leaders of those schools right now about, hey, do we really belong in this next era of Division I athletics?
That's interesting. We're talking to David Cobb from CBS Sports. He joins us every Monday to talk college football and college basketball. In other college football news, the preseason AP Top 25 poll came out today. What were your thoughts on it? I've seen some people kind of think Alabama a little too high at 4, especially with all the question marks. Jay Morgan's already reaching
Tennessee being lower than they were in the coaches poll somehow.
I thought you were going to talk about Miami not being on the poll.
Tennessee was robbed.
Sorry, I interrupted. Go ahead.
Okay,
No.
but David, what did you think of the top
passion.
25? Yeah.
Yeah, I gave it a scan, and I don't have it in front of me. However, I do agree on Alabama being ranked too high. I just think we're relying too much on the brand recognition and that big Crimson A. This is a team with no quarterback. If you have 3 quarterbacks,
who needs a quarterback?
Right. Well, yeah, they don't have a quarterback. They've got 2 new coordinators. They're coming off of a relatively disappointing season.
Only won 11 in the Sugar Bowl.
Right. They didn't win the SEC West, though, which by their standards is a subpar season. So I feel like Alabama belongs more in the 7 to 10 range. I mean, I know that's kind of wild for people to hear, and I certainly believe they're capable of winning the SEC West. They are capable of making the college football playoff. I just don't know why we're assuming that they're going to do those things.
Are they capable of going 8-4?
Yes. The range of possibilities for Alabama, I think, includes a disaster scenario of 8-4. I mean, think about the reality, like Tennessee, not an annual gimme anymore, like it was for most of the last 15 years. Then, of course, LSU, right? And then, of course,
Auburn at Auburn.
Texas A&M has beaten them in recent years. Ole Miss is very competent and well-established.
A&M at College Station, yeah.
So, yeah, you go down the list, and, where are the gimmies outside of the layup non-conference games on that schedule? Yeah, Alabama has a wider range of potential outcomes than I think we're accustomed to. And on the low end of that is a loss total that would be unthinkable, by the Saban standard.
If they went 8-4 and went to the Music City Bowl, over and under crowd size, 85 people.
Woo. Yeah, under, man, that would be a disaster. And I don't think that's likely.
I don't either. I got them 11-1.
Yeah, I think there's a good chance we do see Alabama in the SEC championship game. But when I am going to fill out my SEC predictions for CBS Sports later this week, I'm going to have LSU atop the SEC West. And it took me a while to get there, but really, when you think about it, the continuity at quarterback with Jaden Daniels, the talent that they have is comparable across the board to Alabama's.
And a real
talent.
coach.
They've got a really good coach, too. And they won the SEC West last year. I think they deserve the benefit of the doubt. Year 2 now under Brian Kelly. They're making strides in the right direction. And Jaden Daniels, think about how much better he got as last season went along. Now we're talking about a quarterback who is in his second year in that system. he's not going to have those growing pains that they had the first couple weeks. They lost to Florida State. They get Florida State again this year. I think LSU's got a really good chance to win that game and kind of wreck the Florida State story pretty early, and maybe even establish themselves as a front runner in the national conversation. I mean, I really do think that we need to be considering LSU in those terms.
Last year, the touchdown to interception ratio for Jaden Daniels was 17-3. What does at the end of the year it needs to look like for them to be 11-1?
I mean, probably 25-5, something in that neighborhood. You need a little more through the air from LSU. And Daniels got there as the season went along, but early on, it was like they were trying to force the ball to Kayshon Boutte a little bit too much last year. Now I think they've got the receiving hierarchy and pecking order better established. I think Daniels is going to have better rapport with those guys and just trust the system a little bit more. And like that Florida State game, it is the game in week 1, and we're talking about less than 3 weeks out at this point. I mean that.
Will you say that again, please, David?
Actually, you know what? I think we are 3 weeks out to the day. Are we not? Is that not a Monday night game?
It's a Sunday night.
Sunday night. So 3 weeks from yesterday, we've got. I mean, one of the biggest games of college football in week 1.
It's the third. Where do you have? Do you want to save your rankings for your column, or can you give them out?
Well, I haven't done them all necessarily.
What's your lean on A&M?
On A&M, I'm taking the over. I think
I am
Vegas
too. I'm big over. I bet again.
We do it every year.
Well, I think Petrino is gonna help them a lot.
A lot.
I think Wegman's gonna take a big step forward.
Personnel matters.
Yeah. A&M's got a shot. I don't know that I'm not picking them to win the West, of course, but I might have them there at third, behind LSU and Alabama.
Okay, I like that. Dave, before we let you go, I do want to ask you a college basketball question because Cooper Flagg made headlines on Friday with his decision to reclassify from 2025 to 2024. I know he was here in Memphis for the EYBL event that was here in Memphis.
Age?
Yeah, who knows? But I mean,
he's pretty good, though.
He's good. But I know after that event, Jay Morgan never talks about recruiting, and he was in love with Cooper Flagg after that. A lot of people were talking
comparisons out there.
I mean, what did you make of the decision for him to reclassify? It sounds like Duke is the player right now in first place for him. But what did you think of that, and what can a guy like Cooper Flagg be in college basketball today?
Yeah, Cooper Flagg kind of seems like a Duke guy, doesn't he? Anyway. Yeah, so the deal with him is he reclasses because it gives him a chance to get into the 2025 NBA draft. He's just barely on that age cutoff. I also think that means we should temper our expectations for what he'll do in what presumably will be a one-year college basketball career. We're talking about the potential number one prospect in his class, but a lot of times those prospect rankings are based on long-term professional potential and not short-term collegiate production. And, we can fall into a trap sometimes by assuming that a prospect ranking correlates immediately to college efficiency and production. This guy's going to be super young. I mean, he's going to be 17 the first couple months of his college career. So, anyway, it's big news. He's a big-time prospect. To me, I always just throw on the caution light when we start talking about reclass guys, and people in Memphis should understand why. Look no further than Amani Bates as case in point for that. So it worked out pretty well for Jalen Duren. It didn't work out for Amani Bates, and that's generally about the ratio that you get on these reclass guys. It goes 50-50.
Yeah.
And Cooper Flagg, I think he'll be fine in the long run. I think he'll play in the NBA, but you're talking about a short-term proposition where this guy's going to be a really, really, really young player in a college basketball environment that is getting older and older and older.
If not Duke, what's second right now for him?
Yeah, it sounds like UConn's in the mix. He's from Maine. So I'm assuming there's a certain geographical interest in UConn from that perspective. But, I mean, hey, UConn's buzzing right now. They're at the top of the sport, reigning national champions and producing a lot of NBA talent. So interesting to see UConn sort of regarded in that realm. But I think they're right there, not only with him, but with some other really big-time prospects in college basketball.
And to think UConn now, they've won championships over 3 coaches.
Crazy.
A dynasty, honestly. I mean, a blue blood, are they not?
Yeah,
maybe not a dynasty, right? But blue blood.
The way you should do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Duncan Robinson from Maine.
Really?
There you go.
Oh, also Brett Brown. That's everything I got on Maine basketball.
I didn't have that.
No.
Oh, yeah?
Jay Morgan, the expert on
I just went
on Maine
stereotypical pancake syrup.
I love it. But David, thanks so much for joining us. We'll do it again next week.
And no problem. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, David.
David Cobb from CBS Sports. He joins us every week to talk college football and college basketball.
Last Friday, it was Jason's Deli Day to feed all the volunteers at the golf tournament. They did it so efficiently, and they did it so well with all that great food, and all the volunteers just loved it, as we all do from Jason's Deli, and really highlights the part of the community, big part of the community that Jason's Deli, that they make up for us, whether it's dining in, to go, or delivery. At any of these locations, Ridgeway Road, Poplar and Highland, Olive Branch, and Cordova, they love doing it for the golf tournament. Can't wait till next year, and they would love to help out at your event. Catering, anytime, anywhere, no order too large. If you're in the restaurant, all the different salads, all the different foods that are so good for you, like the taco salad that I had about 3 hours ago, and it was terrific. And on a hot day like today and over the weekend, that complimentary free ice cream, it is really, really busy. Catering, again, anytime, anywhere, no size too large, 5 or 5,000. And that salad bar in all the locations, over 30 items to choose from. Plenty of organic food to choose from as well. Jason's Deli, all about choice, regardless if you seek a gluten-free menu, vegetarian sandwiches, healthy kids' meals. You will be delighted at Jason's Deli, and we were so appreciative of them being with us year-round like they are at SEC Media Days, at the FedEx St. Jude Classic, and they love being a big part of it like they are in a big part of our community. Again, they say bringing more to the table. It's a family thing, and they deliver on it. Go to jasonsdeli.com.
Let's go ahead and get to a break, and when we come back, we'll talk about what happened in Week 1 of the NFL preseason.
You already know you can listen to Sports 56 anywhere with the Sports 56 app or at sports56whbq.com. But you can also watch us daily with live video of all of our shows on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
Attention, everyone. Family Leisure needs your help clearing out their inventory. Let me say that again. Family Leisure is needing your help to clear out their inventory. And to do so, there are tons of great deals throughout the store. For example, all do-it-yourself pools are $1,000 off. Special 24-foot round pools for less than $2,000. Select play gyms, only $18.99. Hey, if you need patio furniture, they have patio furniture that's now up to 30% off. Spas are in stock. They're up to $1,200 off. Now listen up, because I'm only going to say this once. 24 months, same as cash financing, is now available through this sale. Family Leisure needs your help clearing out their inventory, so come and do your part at Family Leisure. Whitten Road and I-40, where family and fun come together.
Visit Frontier Western Store today for new shirts and boots. Frontier is your top Carhartt store in the Mid-South. There's thousands of in-stock shirts and jeans. They have the classic K87 pocket tee in every color they make, including new ones just released. Available small to 4X. Want new jeans? Frontier has you covered with super tough work denim by Carhartt. And you've got to check out their selection of Ariat jeans for men, women, and children. You'll love how easy it is to find the size and style you need. Have you seen Frontier's remodeled world-famous boot showroom? It continues to expand. New styles by Ariat just arrived, plus plenty of in-stock proven classics too. Whether you need work or dress boots, trust that Frontier's the place to come. See thousands of pairs of Ariat boots and thousands more by Dan Post, Corral, Durango, Rocky, Twisted X, and others. And Frontier's pricing is lower than online and chain stores, so you know just the local shop to visit. Frontier Western Store, 5880 Goodman Road in Olive Branch, and on the web at frontierwesternstore.com. Locally owned and operated since 1967.
Is your roof leaking? Do you have water damage on your ceiling of your home or business? Do you need assistance gathering much-needed data and images from your storm-damaged roof for an insurance claim? Call Metro Builders, roof and restoration specialists, and schedule your free inspection. At Metro Builders, our team of Hague-certified technicians and fully trained estimators are ready to come out and evaluate any concerns you may have. Metro Builders Roof and Restoration. We accept all insurance carrier scopes. Call Metro Builders now. Each and every day, we provide clients many different types of data and estimates for their insurance carrier. These include estimate and photo reports of all damage, from the roof to water damage on rafters and ceilings and even studs and plates inside walls. Check out the local BBB for our 27-year history in construction in Memphis, or check us out online today at metrobuildersmemphis.com. That's metrobuildersmemphis.com for your local residential and commercial roofing and restoration experts. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717.
Hotsy Pressure Washers and Detail Supplies of Memphis takes it all off. They are the #1 cleaning and equipment provider, period. Big or small, Hotsy has the solution. From hot water and cold water pressure washers to industrial soaps and detail supplies, Hotsy has you covered. For our Sports 56 fans, you get 20% off all detail products, so don't miss out on this amazing deal. Call Hotsy today, 901-379-0550, or visit their showroom, conveniently located at Austin P and I-40.
I'm with John Burgos from the world-famous Rendezvous in the Alley since 1948.
Brett, I want to talk about our seasoning and sauce today. Our sauce is a great blend of sweet, mustard, and vinegar. It's good on so many items other than barbecue. It's good on pizza. People use it in lieu of ketchup. But our seasoning is the original dry rub, created by my father using a mixture of Greek and Cajun spices. People think our sauce and seasoning are good just during the grilling season. Nothing could be further from the truth. It's good year-round. Our seasoning is good on fish, chicken, deviled eggs, corn on the cob, French fries. People even put a dash in a Bloody Mary. To get a complete list of all of our recipes using our products, go to hogsfly.com, click recipes, and you'll see 50 wonderful items and dishes. And Brett, our sauce and seasoning is available at most grocery stores, and if they don't have it, please remind your grocer to stock it. And our slaw is also available at most Kroger stores.
Thank you, John. The Rendezvous, Mr. Charlie Burgos' Rendezvous in the Alley since 1948 and celebrating its 75th year.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time, and we're now officially through the first week of the NFL preseason. It was a lot of fun to watch.
And it was an over weekend.
It was. I didn't bet.
Were y'all riding
much,
unders?
I didn't bet much NFL preseason this weekend.
What the heck's wrong with you? Did the sun get to you Friday?
I did. It really did. I'll be honest, Brett. It did.
Yeah.
But I was busy. I didn't know I was going to be so
busy. You weren't building a war
weekend.
chest? Jay Morgan, did you building a war chest?
No, but what a coincidence. I broke the news of Steven Matt's
You got more breaking news.
Well, sort of breaking 20 minutes ago.
Okay.
Zeke Elliott's signing a 1-year deal with the Pats.
It's almost like I mentioned that at the end of the last hour.
Well, but I'm just saying that there's breaking news at the start of both segments that we've talked about each individual sport.
And you know who will love the signing of Ezekiel Elliott?
Not me.
Mac Jones.
Oh, absolutely.
In blitz
absolutely.
protect.
Oh, 100%.
Maybe the best blitz protect blocker in the history of the league.
Yeah. That's why I'm worried about Tony Pollard. I mean, I love him as a running back.
I am too.
But with Dak kind of having that safety blanket there for all these years, it might be a little different this year.
You want to avoid the safeties this year, Dak, because he threw it to the safeties too many times last year.
He did. I took a little
too many times.
Shot at Dak earlier. Looked like about half the starters played. Yeah. Dak didn't. He's going to play. I know that. And he's going to be their quarterback, and he's going to be good. He's been good. He's been 12-5 the last 2 years. Yeah. You think the Cowboys get enough credit? No. Are they stereotyped as 12-win team the last 2 years?
No, not at all.
And that division was good last year.
It was.
Real good. Beast.
Had Dan Dimes in it.
Sure did.
Just not any football has. I mean, not even in the AFC North has Dan Dimes.
I love Daniel Jones.
Different kind of football, though.
I love Daniel Jones. You know who really likes Daniel Jones is Patrick Mahomes. I heard him talk about it recently. I think he really likes their offensive coordinator. I forget the fellow's name. He was the quarterback coach for Patrick Mahomes, and I've heard rumor he was kind of the mediator between fellow's name offensive coordinator for the Commanders now. You know,
Eric Bieniemy.
Eric Bieniemy. Yeah. He was kind of the mediator there, and you saw last year that relationship between Pat Mahomes and Bieniemy was a little bit more volatile. So he likes Pat Mahomes, says he loves Danny Dimes, but it might just be love for the OC.
I saw a funny tweet today that someone said that Daniel Jones looks like the guy that would be playing Eli Manning in the Peyton Manning movie.
I mean, not wrong.
I think I got that right.
Kind of connected, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
playing for the Giants. I love that. That's great.
Same coach, Cliff.
Oh yeah,
That's right. Speaking of quarterbacks in the NFL, have you seen the conspiracy theory about Trey Lance from over the weekend?
Yes.
Kafka is the OC. I'm sorry.
Do you buy that at all?
I don't.
Why would you do that to a first-round pick?
I mean, now, Brett, I want to preface this.
You like conspiracy.
I love conspiracy theories. Nothing's better than conspiracy theories.
What is the conspiracy theory?
The conspiracy theory is that yesterday
they wanted to expose him.
And so
they
had way more pass plays than they would usually run in a regular game. They kind of almost set him up for failure.
Spin City.
You'd have him drop back against
this is the
third
NFL.
string offensive line.
I've heard of college coaches. I've heard college coaches say, I've got to play him to where he and his parents realize he can't play.
Yeah.
That could be where, his perspective, but it could just come down to, God bless him. It could just come down to Cliff Kingsbury was not calling plays, or whoever was. I'm assuming he was calling plays. I don't know who was. But whoever was calling plays might have been doing a poor job. It might not be as vindictive as he feels like it is. I'm assuming he also linked the story.
It's always vindictive.
You think so?
Yeah, I don't know. But, I mean, the whole conspiracy theory revolves around that Kyle Shanahan is 100% locked in on Brock Purdy being the starting quarterback.
He's going to be the
starter. And he doesn't want Trey Lance to go out there.
Oh, Trey Lance. I thought you meant Kyler Murray. I'm thinking Kyler Murray. I'm so sorry.
Trey Lance. And so the theory is that if Trey Lance goes out there and plays well and is impressive in a couple preseason games, that fans will be like, we have to have Trey Lance as a starting quarterback. And then Shanahan is like, no, we're starting Purdy, and then he don't look good. So the idea is make him look bad, and then all the fans will be like, get this guy out of here. We want Brock Purdy as the starting quarterback. So, I mean,
I don't buy that.
Pretty far-fetched.
I think so, too.
I mean,
Brock Purdy's going to be the starter.
Oh, 100%.
When it was a conspiracy theory on Cliff Kingsbury, I was like, I could buy that. But around Kyle Shanahan doing something to, expose, that just seems a little bit far-fetched.
One of the top 4 or 5 coaches in the league.
Well, he's going to waste his time doing something petty to one of his players? That seems crazy. Yeah. Especially when he's competing at
in a preseason
His team have a chance to win a Super Bowl last year with a third-string quarterback. He's trying to harm one of his mini stable of quarterbacks. It's usually a stable of running backs.
But it's long been my theory about some NFL scouting departments, and sometimes I'll say something about an NFL team making a pick, and as an aside, I'll go, I know they know more about it than I do.
Sure.
I'm not so sure about that. Now, out of the Johnny Manziel documentary, we've learned the Browns were sound asleep at the wheel.
Yeah, I mean,
what in the world were they investigating and watching?
Their results show that.
Well, yeah.
They do.
That's a good point.
But it's a really bad look for Jim Haslam.
Mm-hmm.
No good.
And I go back to that picture I took of the number one scout in the Dolphin system in 2019, Ole Miss, Alabama, playing at Bryant-Denny.
Mm-hmm.
When I say he didn't have a laptop, he didn't have a notebook, he didn't have a iPhone in his hand making notes on it, he didn't have an ink pen.
That's crazy. I mean, you're just sitting there.
Sat there about a half and was gone.
Wow.
I said, work here's done, I guess.
That's crazy.
And, just the fascination of Tua that we all had.
Sure. I mean, I understand that. But to not have anything to write on, type, take notes, do anything, that's kind of crazy.
I don't know how much they dig.
Yeah.
All of them.
Yeah. I mean, Trey Lance, that was the year where
and he played 2 games?
2 games against FCS
Seen enough.
opponents, and
at the Dome
year
in
where
Fargo
nobody was playing anything. Yeah, so I mean, how much did you see of him?
Trey Lance's drafting is independently insane. I mean, quite frankly, I don't mean to make it seem worse than it is, but I mean, like you just say, big 2 games. I still don't get it to this
That's
day.
what I was talking to my buddy the other day, and we were talking about this situation. He was like, I remember we watched that draft together, and both of us, when he was picked, were like, what are they thinking? Why make this pick? Why trade up and make this pick?
Better than that, Brian. Week or two after that draft, it was almost, you can't criticize it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Well, He's done nothing.
He's done absolutely nothing.
By the same token,
I mean, at least Johnny had done something.
Yeah,
by the same token, though, everybody always assumes that the draft pick is wrong. Sometimes, like we were just talking about, Daniel Jones is a great
Hate every
example of
pick.
that.
Yeah.
Like
That's true.
it was ridiculous the criticism he got the first year as a rookie start. And he's really gotten a lot better over time. Get a good head coach and a good OC, and he looked a lot better last year. I mean,
Sure
really,
did.
in a lot of ways, running the football more, just in so many ways. So, yeah, a lot of times people assume as well, and so I guess it probably goes both ways in a lot of respects.
Absolutely, but it was a fun week one. Did you see DJ Moore with the Bears? Now he scored on a screen play on his first play from scrimmage. That was
a pass behind the line.
I don't think draft night they got it wrong with Justin Fields. I thought he was the best quarterback in that draft.
Yeah, no,
And
he looked good.
So it shows a 63-yard pass in the old stat book, doesn't it?
Harbaugh wins again.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, what is that? 24 in a row. It's
I mean, when do
crazy.
you put a banner up?
30.
50.
Ooh,
50 straight preseason games. You hang a banner, don't
I'd
you?
say 30.
This team's won 2 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
You hang a banner for anything in the preseason?
I mean,
they were
hey.
going for that game, too.
Oh, absolutely. It was a 1-point win. I mean, they had to do everything to win that game.
He's absolutely proud of it. 100%.
He really is.
He is so proud of it.
I mean, it might be his biggest accomplishment. He feels like is the fact that he hasn't lost his last 25 preseason games.
He's such a weird animal. I'll tell you what.
He is.
Yeah, can I be honest with you?
Please.
It is my biggest thing I'm shameful of, and it's just because I've been so into baseball and the golf tournament going on.
You didn't watch any preseason football,
I haven't
did
seen
you?
or Hard Knocks or Hard Knocks.
You haven't watched the first episode of Hard Knocks
it's my
yet?
favorite show
Hey,
too.
Jay Morgan,
It's
can
my
I
favorite
tell you
show.
something? You're a TV
Spoiler
guy.
alert.
So I trust you. I need you to get with it. We got episode 2 tomorrow night. I need you to get
I'm
with
aware.
it.
I know. I got to get with it.
But you'll be glad to know because I felt like you. I told John earlier today I felt like you today
yeah?
because I was complaining because I couldn't watch the Tennessee Titans week 1 preseason.
No local TV.
Because no local TV
NFL
carried
Plus.
it. You can't watch on NFL
Nope,
Plus
'cause
because you're in the market.
Oh, so 3 days away or whatever. You can watch it in 3 days.
Yeah,
or
so
something like that.
I couldn't watch it the other day, and I felt like you because I know you complained.
I was looking for the
wasn't
local
on-
package.
It wasn't on in market.
No.
What a joke!
Really is.
This is the biggest brand, and it's the team in your state.
It's the NFL.
It's the NFL.
This is literally the biggest sport in America, the biggest league. It's a team that exists in your state, and you aren't going to carry one of how many games do they play, including preseason games? Total 20 nowadays. 20 games, unless there's playoffs. There's only 20 of these. You have the ability to get one and sell advertising on it, and you don't do it. What are you doing?
Who in the past did? Wasn't it Channel 5?
I think it's Channel 5.
It's all. I've seen it on 3 a lot as well, though. It's been all over.
It has
13.
been.
It's been
It
all
has
over.
been.
And 24 even. It's been all over the place.
But that's what I thought at first because right now DirecTV and CBS really DirecTV and CBS are they're arguing right now. So if you have DirecTV, you can't watch CBS, and so I have DirecTV Stream, so I can't watch CBS. So when I clicked on the game, I just thought it was on CBS. That's why I couldn't watch it. So I went to YouTube TV so I could pull up CBS. It wasn't on CBS either, and so that's when I saw some people tweeting about how it was ridiculous they couldn't watch it here in Memphis.
So Mike Key, what an oversight by somebody. I don't know
crazy.
who's doing it. It's an oversight by somebody. I'll tell you what.
I think it's somebody that doesn't like money.
It has to be. What other explanation could there possibly be? Ignorance. It has to be the only other one.
But
well,
I'm gonna talk about it enough.
I'm afraid it's this. Damn Nashville.
Oh,
no way.
I'm afraid so.
I hope not. I hope not.
That's out there.
But I even said,
that could be a sentiment, but
you can't let that.
crazy.
This is the NFL.
I don't
carry somebody's game
I
for
was gonna say,
goodness
I don't
sake.
care if it's I don't care what NFL game it is. If you have an opportunity to carry an NFL game,
Exactly.
do it.
Now-
It's the NFL.
I'll tell you what. Then you carry like the Saints or the Cowboys, and then I'll get upset that you didn't carry the Titans.
Okay,
but
yeah.
carry somebody first,
Carry
and then I'll get upset about that.
And
but
this
for
market
now,
has carried both of those a lot of years.
and that's we get them in market all the time. We get
Yeah.
the Saints. I feel like, and the Falcons too.
Yeah. Well, I said earlier, I don't even like the Titans, but like it's an NFL game that's on, and it's not on local television. It's
They're
ridiculous.
the Tennessee Titans.
And I would say set up for your sales department.
Yes.
It's not selling anything. It's filling out the order.
Really, literally. I mean, it's crazy.
I'll tell you what, though, I would say the same thing to the sentiment that
we hate Titans.
It's that, because they're in Nashville. Like we just said, this is the biggest sport in America, and wouldn't it be great to be they're like a 3-hour drive, not even like 2.5. Hey, if you're on your horse, you can get there in under 3 hours.
Screwed us 25 years ago.
Well, I mean,
so stupid.
It's the biggest. Really is the biggest brand to the point where it's so close that
Let's be Captain Memphis and bang that damn Nashville drum.
Well, it's so close that I tried to get a Predators media credential last year. Didn't get it, unfortunately.
Which was ridiculous.
There's a wrestling event going on Wednesday that I'd be interested in.
Wrestling or wrestling?
Wrestling. Okay. And they're going to be there that day, and then the weekend.
Somebody knows the winner already.
Man, that's so close. I could go up there this weekend. I got to play. So
I went to the Kraken game up there. A quick 2-day trip.
Just no brainer to at least acknowledge your team.
It's crazy.
That's why we talk Titans at 5 today.
Exactly. Exactly. We stick it to them at 5 o'clock. Let's go ahead and get to a break. On the other side, we'll get to big number of the day.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
So you've decided to get yourself some culture and go to the Orpheum to see a Broadway show. Well, why stop there? Thanks to a partnership with the Orpheum, 117 Prime, Memphis's premier downtown dining destination, is offering the Orpheum pre-show menu. 3 courses just right before enjoying a Broadway show. Choose from a Caesar salad or French onion soup to start, a 7-ounce flank steak or pan-seared salmon for your entree, and top it off with carrot cake for dessert. If you're an Orpheum Perks member, you can get a special price. All this culture and great food thanks to the Orpheum at 117 Prime.
Drive like a pro and support a great cause during the sales drive at Landers Ford in Collierville, Landers Ford South in South Haven, and Landers Ford North in Covington. We've provided over 100 new Fords to be driven by the pros at the FedEx St. Jude Championship. Now they're all being sold with demo prices. That's right, over 100 new Fords driven by the pros are being sold with demo pricing direct to the public. A portion of the proceeds go directly to the St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital. This is a once-a-year opportunity to trade up and drive like a pro while supporting a great cause. Visit LandersMemphis.com or come see us at Landers Ford in Collierville, Landers Ford South in South Haven, or Landers Ford North in Covington. With our Landers Easy Pass, you can get top dollar for your trade-in to help you save even more. Don't miss your chance. Reserve your demo-priced new Ford driven by a pro at the FedEx St. Jude Championship and lock in low APR financing. Remember, if it doesn't say Landers, you paid too much.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
Robert is a real Prevagen user and content contributor.
I am Robert Strickler. My wife Joyce and I have been married for 53 years. Certainly one of the really important things in my life are our children and our grandchildren. I am essentially a writer. I've been involved in communications in the media. I've been an avid fly fisherman for at least 40 or more years. I've been taking Prevagen for at least 8 years. For me, the greatest benefit over the years has been that Prevagen seems to help me recall things and also think more clearly, have a crisper ability to remember and think through things. And I enthusiastically recommend Prevagen. It has helped me an awful lot.
Prevagen, healthier brain, better life. Prevagen is available in stores everywhere. Based on a clinical study of subgroups of individuals who were cognitively normal or mildly impaired.
These products and statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis in Olive Branch has an offer you can't refuse. They will pay you to do business with them if you want luxury. And I'm talking the Genesis G70 car. If you would love to have that kind of new technology, they will give you a $1,000 rebate when you finance with Genesis Motor Finance. In other words, they'll pay you $1,000 to do business with them, and you get brand new luxury. You can't beat it. That's Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis, right at the corner of Craft Road and Highway 78 in Olive Branch. Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis in Olive Branch, where customer retention is amazing. There's a reason. They take care of you with a team that's been together for a long time. Whether it's finance or whether it's service, you can't beat them. Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis.
Your favorite Italian pasta company in Delhi, Lucchese's, now ships. For over 25 years, Memphis has trusted Lucchese's to feed their loved ones, and now they've crafted 3 great comfort food meals that can be shipped across the country to your friends and family. Enjoy lasagna, ravioli, spaghetti, Italian spinach, and delicious sauces with no MSG, no preservatives, and no artificial colors. All you need to do is go to lucchese's.com to place your order or call 901-766-9922.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Big Daddy.
Hello, Big Brand.
It's a guy, he wants to be big, then he gets big, he doesn't want to be big anymore, then he gets small, but the suit's too big.
Big Daddy.
The big boy.
You're a big guy. I think she's trying to pull a fast one on Big Daddy.
The big number of the day.
I feel like we haven't all been in studio in like 2 weeks. I mean, between me being sick and the golf tournament, I feel like this is the first time. It's true. I mean, it's been like 2 weeks.
But Brett's been here a lot.
Me being
Brett's been
old,
here
it
a
sounds
ton.
like I'm going to die on the air.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a wild 2 weeks. With that being said, I kind of a special day all of us being here for Big Number. Anybody want to go first?
I think you should go first.
I would love to go first.
Brett should go first.
Brett has been volunteering a lot for first.
And
Please,
it's a
Brett.
gigantic number.
I love it.
4,968,000.
That is a big number.
That's how much cash Lucas Glover's won the last 2 weeks.
Good Lord. Good for him.
2 weeks.
I'm happy. I really am.
That makes it far. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Brian,
No,
but
please.
that for me makes it so much more far-fetched that he will win the FedEx Cup, unfortunately, because this is just unprecedented. How you gonna keep this up, man?
Down the stretch, they come, and he had a great down the stretch.
He has. But I mean, really, I've said this, I said it a couple times earlier, but when you talk about people that you just want to root for, I mean, Lucas Glover is.
I mean,
is right there.
If he wins the FedEx Cup, it would be the greatest run of golf I've ever seen.
Then we'll have the questions of, we can't have this. It's just a guy winning it over 4 weeks.
But that's impressive.
That's part of it.
That's incredible that he would think about how difficult it is to win that many times in a short time span. It would be unbelievable. Yeah. It would be unbelievable. Oh, I can't even imagine.
I agree.
You want to go next?
Sure, I'll go next. Let's see. My big number, I will do 10 as my big number.
Seem undecided about it.
Well, there's a lot of numbers in here, so
yeah,
I tried to pick
I'm
one.
faced with the same dilemma,
Yeah. So Saturday night, we talked about the Mariners kind of right back in the hunt for that wild card spot. They played the Orioles over the weekend. Lost 2 of 3, so not a great weekend, but they got the Royals this week, so can bounce back. But on Saturday night, they pitched 10-plus innings. They went to 10 innings because the game went into extra innings. They allowed fewer than 5 hits, allowed 0 earned runs, allowed 0 walks, and allowed 0 extra base hits. The only run that was scored was the ghost runner that started the 10th inning on second base. Oh, scary.
Terrifying. But he goes away come playoff time.
He does.
Who are you going to call?
Ghostbusters. The last MLB team to put up those numbers on the mound but still lose was the Senators on August 28, 1913, with Walter Johnson taking the complete game loss.
He was
Poor
great
Walter.
pitcher.
He
He's
was
a legend.
great.
Yeah, so one of the...
You know the Senators' motto, don't you?
I don't know.
First in war, first in peace, last in the American League.
Oh, that's too bad. But really...
That's taking a new meaning with the new war statistic, though.
Really does.
Yeah,
a lot of
it
war
is.
in it.
There's very much.
Washington loves war.
They do.
It's very lucrative.
Yeah, but when you talk about losses, I mean, that was one of the best pitching performances that resulted in a loss.
It's so much
we've seen in a while.
so much so that I actually saw on my Twitter feed the next day or maybe that night or something like that, like a discussion being had about who the Mariners going to start. I think in either game one or a decision game in the playoffs. Would it be Luis Castillo or George Kirby?
George Kirby's been playing well.
Very consistent.
But Luis Castillo, he steps up for the big moments.
Very much so. My big number, worst isn't a number, so I can't do that.
No, it's worse.
I'll make my number 1 here because this is a statistic about one-run games. Following yesterday's 5-4, this is courtesy of OptaStats, by the way. Following yesterday's 5-4 loss to the Diamondbacks, the Padres are 6-19. That's a win percentage of 240, 24%. In games decided by one run this season. That would be the worst record in one-run games by a major league team in a season. Since 1935, the Boston Braves went 7-31, a 184.
I think that was the last year of Babe Ruth playing as player manager of the Boston Braves.
Really? In fact, Brett, this picture has Babe Ruth in it.
Of course it does.
Of course it does.
How about that?
In his jacket, and it says Braves across his chest. The old Boston Braves.
We got a Walter Johnson and a Babe Ruth.
How about that?
That's actually I love that. I feel
That's
like
immaculate grid of radio, isn't it?
For me, the game of big number has been coming up with the statistics that can reference the oldest team possible or oldest
I do
player
like
possible.
when I get a super old team in there. That's a lot of fun.
That's the holy grail for me.
It really
That's
is.
like I'm King Arthur and I just found a scowl.
But the Padres, they've been really bad.
Have y'all had to make an appointment at Best Buy for any reason? To drop off anything, have anything checked?
No, why is that?
Well, I have one tomorrow, and I just got this email.
I love emails.
It says, have you finished prepping for your appointment?
Ooh, what kind of prep work
You got to
do
apply
need
the
to do?
ointment.
Am I having a colonoscopy at Best Buy? I mean, I forgot to do it.
Yeah, some prep work there, but
to the hard
barium enema necessary.
It must
to
be.
take my laptop in.
I don't think I've ever made an appointment. I've made I've picked up online orders at Best Buy.
Is that the Geek Squad?
The Geek Squad. Yeah, that's right.
I didn't know you couldn't just walk in and leave anything anymore, even paying that fee every year, but you can't.
That's
and
crazy.
I did, and you got to make an appointment.
You got to make an appointment. Interesting.
I said, well, my lower left side's hurting. I think it's a lat.
I think it's a lat. No, I can't say. But I do love reading emails. I like looking at my emails every day, seeing what's kind of in the inbox. But I don't think I'd like any Best Buy emails. They can keep their emails.
I've never been to the Geek Squad.
I haven't either.
I don't like the Apple Geniuses.
I'll be there
either.
tomorrow.
I don't either.
I'll tell you all about it.
Please give us an update on what they're like. But let's go ahead and wrap up hour number 2. And when we come back, we're going to talk some Tennessee Titans with Nick Suss from the Tennessean.
Tighten up.
Response to the all-new Genesis Diamonds has been incredible. Hey, it's Eric Hasseltine. People are loving this amazing new store. It's more jewelry than you've ever seen in one place at prices you never thought possible. I'm telling you, the selection at Genesis is mind-blowing. One of the largest selections of certified diamonds in the United States. From a half carat to 20 carats, rounds, princess cuts, ovals, cushion cuts, emerald cuts, both natural diamonds and lab-grown diamonds, all at prices guaranteed anywhere in America. Plus, Genesis has brought a new level of quality to Memphis with exquisite handcrafted designer jewelry you won't find anywhere else. They've got over 1,000 designer engagement rings. It's mind-blowing when you walk in. Rings, bands, earrings, pendants, bracelets, case after case of unique, one-of-a-kind jewelry. Up to 30 times what you find at ordinary stores. Discover Genesis Diamonds, forever changing how people in Memphis buy diamonds and fine jewelry. Now open in Poplar Commons at Poplar & Perkins Extended, the official jeweler of the Tennessee Titans.
I've always gotten tons of UTIs. Cranberry products never worked for me, and I was desperate for a way to be proactive. I'm Jenna Ryan, CEO and founder of Eucora. We've worked with doctors to develop effective urinary tract health products. Eucora is helping over 100,000 women stay healthy. Ready to join them? Get 30% off at eucora.com/radio. That's UQORA.com/radio.
These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. If you need a new roof for your home or business, we hope to hear from you and will work hard to earn your business. We are experts and certified in residential and commercial roofing, siding, and gutter installation. I have been serving the Memphis area for over 20 years, and now with 2 of my sons working with me, we plan to be here for years to come. So if you need a roof, please give us a call. On a personal note, what a great time it is to be a Memphis sports fan. With the Grizzlies and the Redbirds and 901 FC, not to mention Tigers football and basketball, it's going to be a fun year. Thanks to Coach Silverfield and Coach Hardaway and their staffs for their dedication to the student and athletes, the University of Memphis, the City of Memphis, and us fans. Fiveash Roof Services, a proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. Fiveash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Make this the summer sales event is still going strong at Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat on the Pike. Get ready to ride in your new 2023 Dodge Charger SXT. We Gossett $29,990 or $425 a month. Got some hauling to do? We Gossett covered in 2023 Ram 1500 Quad Cab Tradesman 4x4, $39,990 or $579 a month. Or how about some employee pricing from Gossett on all Jeep Gladiators? 2023 Jeep Gladiator Sport 4-door 4x4 now just $669 a month. And if we don't have it, Gossett can order it today. So drive past the rest and come to the best at Gossett on the Pike or shop online at GossettMotorCars.net.
If you want it, we Gossett at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 3500 down, Charger PH 508-657, MSRP 35,930, Ram PN 671,333, MSRP 48,390, Jeep PL 561,602, MSRP 54,655. Must finance through Chrysler Capital, includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695, excludes tax, title, and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month, dealer stock only.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. Okay, easy now. You're teaching your kid how to parallel park. Ouch! Turns out he likes to do it by feel. Don't worry, eBay Motors has bumpers, taillights, trunk lids, license plate holders, 122 million parts. Pull up just a little bit. And headlights. They've got lots of headlights. Get the right parts at the right prices. eBay Motors. Let's ride.
Listen each and every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. and join Ottawild Presbyterian Church for worship. Ottawild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time as we start our third and final hour on this Monday. Bryant Dacus, Brett Norsworthy, Jay Morgan Harder with you, and joining us now from the Tennessee, and he's the beat writer for the Tennessee Titans. Nick Suss joins us now. Nick, thanks so much for joining us. The Tennessee Titans got Week 1 of the preseason underway on Saturday, a 23-17 loss to the Chicago Bears. But the big story was the quarterbacks. You saw both Malik Willis and Will Levis in action. They alternated snaps with each other, alternated drives, I should say. What did you think of the two quarterbacks?
Yeah, I mean, for the people who this was their first time seeing them this summer, this fall, It was pretty much what we've seen from them the 3 weeks of training camp leading up to this. And I don't mean that derisively. I don't mean that over the top. I mean, both of them look improved over what Levis looked like in May and what Willis looked like last year. Willis looks like he's processing quicker, looks like he's getting the ball out a little bit better, still needs a little bit better of a pocket presence. Levis looks like a guy who is still trying to do a little bit too much, but the raw talent is obviously there. Both of them seem like quarterbacks who, if the Titans are in a pinch and need a backup quarterback, they're probably better than what the Titans had last year in a rookie Willis and Josh Dobbs, et cetera, et cetera. That said, it was tough to get too much of a read on both of them, given the way the second-string offensive line and receivers played. Not as much of an opportunity to get a good look at Levis when he was pressured on 50% of his dropbacks. I think Willis was pressured on like 36% of his dropbacks. The guys were fighting to stay upright, and that's why there were so many turnovers and sloppy play. And yeah, I mean, I try not to make snap judgments off of 35, 39 passes between the two of them when I've been out there at every practice, seeing the way that they've progressed, generally speaking. And yeah, I mean, it's a competition for backup quarterback, and the most important characteristic for a backup quarterback is the ability to be available. It is the ability to, be there. And both of these guys seem like they can do that.
It will matter a lot more for both of them in 1 year, won't it?
It should. There's no rule stopping the Titans from bringing back Ryan Tannehill. Now, we all understand that that's unlikely. And I don't want to say unlikely in a sense of I'm predicting against it. I'm saying we understand the market dynamics of you draft two quarterbacks in back-to-back years and you have a pricey veteran quarterback and you're trying to reset the franchise. We all understand what the Titans are up against next year with Ryan Tannehill and Derrick Henry's contracts expiring. But I still don't think that the play in one preseason game is going to determine who starts next year. Like, that's not how I view this competition. What I see from Mike Vrabel and Tim Kelly and these coaches is they're trying to figure out which of these two quarterbacks is going to do a better job of helping them this year. Yeah. And that doesn't mean who's the guy who has the highest upside. That means who's the guy who's not going to mess us up
Get a play
if they have
off,
to go
yeah.
in.
Yeah, just to run a play. Nick, I don't know if this wins you in the press box, but I would dare say you may be in a party of one that can say, I saw Malik Willis in college and Will Levis in college.
Yeah, that is true. I did see the both of them play in two games that the both of them, the one thing they had in common is their offensive lines had really bad days.
Really bad days.
So I am used to that for the both of them, unfortunately. It's interesting when you bring up the way they played in college, because I think both of them have a really similar flaw, which is that they played in offenses that asked them to be the guy.
Yeah.
And it's really tough to adjust when you get to the NFL of generously you're the seventh most talented player on your own offense, and you got people who can help you out. You don't have to play hero ball. And I think Malik Willis is adjusting to that and starting to get better at that. I think that's the next step for Will Levis, as both of them are guys who were stupendously good college quarterbacks. I don't want to take anything away from especially what Will Levis did his 2021 season and what Malik Willis was able to do for his 2 seasons at Liberty. They were really productive, really effective college quarterbacks, but with the rare exceptions of the Joe Burrows of the world that can come in and just not miss a beat. Usually there's a pretty large adjustment curve when you go from running an offense by yourself to having NFL caliber talent around you.
I thought the biggest difference between the two in college when I saw them is one had Barry and Brown and the other one didn't at Liberty.
That's a good way to put it as well. The talent around you, we don't talk enough about how important that is. And, I mean, look at what happened to Ryan Tannehill last year, if we're talking about the Titans. And look at who he was. Nick. Yeah, look at who he was when A.J. Brown and Corey Davis and Jonnu Smith were catching passes, and he had Taylor Lewan and Ben Jones and Roger Saffold in front of him. And then compare that to last year when none of those guys were around.
Yeah.
You see the drop-off.
Absolutely. Well, and you just kind of mentioned it talking about Malik Willis and kind of that transition from college football to NFL. It is tough for a lot of players. But we heard all of the kind of overreactions after the draft of you need to cut Malik Willis. He just wasn't good last year. In what ways, you talk about being out there these past 3 weeks for training camp, where have you seen the improvements for Malik Willis as he gets ready for year 2?
I think that the first thing I see is, look, this is a guy who had never taken a snap under center or called a play out of a huddle before last year. Like, we're not talking about adjusting from college to the pros. We're talking about learning how to play quarterback and not just go out there and be a peewee gunslinger, which is essentially what Hugh Freeze asked of him, and there was nothing wrong with that. That was a good offense. Yeah. But I think that he's not coming in and looking like somebody who is learning on the fly. He's coming in and looking somebody who's honing his craft. I think he's getting the ball out a little bit quicker. He could still stand to get it out even quicker, but he's getting the ball out quicker. He's processing downfield. I think that there were a couple of times on Saturday where I saw him check to a second or third read and find somebody open downfield instead of looking at one read and then getting happy feet. I think that there's a lot of improvement there because he's learning how to play quarterback. And it's not like last year where they said, okay, you're a quarterback, go do it. Now he's somebody who has that baseline of having done it and can isolate the weaknesses and turn them into strengths.
Yeah, absolutely. We here in Memphis are very familiar with Tyjae Spears and what he did at Tulane over the last couple of seasons, kind of being in that conference and watching that success at Tulane. What have you seen from him through training camp?
He's really good.
Yeah.
I don't want to oversell it, but the kid's got burst. He's very effective with the ball in his hands. He's singularly driven. I think that once you get to the pros, a lot of times that attitude of finish every practice rep in the end zone gets beaten out of you, and he hasn't lost that. He still stands up from every tackle, dodges every defender, and jogs his way to the end zone every single play to practice running after the catch and running after the carry. I mean, he caught a touchdown pass today in practice on like a up and out route as a running back in the back of the end zone. And
that's
like,
Jahmyr Gibbs stuff.
the sort of versatility he has, I think that he was underrated in the draft because of his injury history, and that injury history is scary. Like a guy who's had 2 ACLs is obviously going to have, you would think, a shorter shelf life in the NFL than most, but then you have the Frank Gore example, obviously, of one of the longest shelf lives in NFL history after 2 ACLs prior to getting to the league. So if things work out, I think he can be a really good running back. I'm not predicting he's going to replace Derrick Henry today. I'm not even predicting he'll be half as productive as Henry's been in the last couple of years, but the dude has a lot of talent that he can help the Titans in a very diverse array of ways.
What's the perfect usage for him this year?
I think you're going to probably see him as a spellback on third down primarily, but you're also probably going to see him used as a passing downs running back, as a guy who can line up in the slot if he needs to, as a guy who can come in motion and kind of keep the defense accountable. He'll be a tough matchup for linebackers because of his speed, and a tough matchup for safeties.
Are they ever on the field
strength.
together?
It'll happen once or twice. I said this to somebody last week, and maybe this is just my own bias coming through, but every NFL fan base, every college fan base dreams of running a 2-back system, dreams of, we got 2 good running backs, let's put them on the field together.
Yeah.
No team, no NFL team, no school does this on a regular basis, which leads me to believe it's not a good idea. Because if every coach
the
in the world
Steelers did it 100
agrees,
years ago with Franco and Rocky Blyer, why can't we now?
Sure, and Nebraska won a lot of championships running the triple, but nobody does it anymore, and I kind of understand if nobody does it, it's probably not as alluring of an idea as we make it out to be. It'll happen sometimes, but it's not going to be the base offense.
Yeah. Talking to Nick Suss from the Tennessee, and he's the beat writer for the Tennessee Titans. When you look at Saturday's game, I know a lot of starters didn't play, a lot of starters out for the Titans, but 8 sacks given up by the offensive line, is that concerning at all to you, or do you just chalk that up to a lot of young guys out there?
Oh, it's concerning. I mean, these weren't the starters, but somebody has to be the backup.
That's true.
I mean, your backup offensive line should not be surrendering 8 sacks to the Chicago Bears' second and third team defense. I mean, it's not like they were going against, look, Khalil Mack's on the Bears suddenly again, and would you know it, Fridge Perry's out there. It's like these were the same caliber of players, and they were getting beat, and that's not what you want, but I don't know, the Titans' offensive line depth is deceptively thin because things are going to change when Nicholas Petit-Frere's suspension is over, and things are going to change when Dylan Radins gets back from injury, and there is some artificial decreasing of how much depth they actually have, because if, let's say, those guys are their 7th and 8th linemen, that means the guys who are playing right now as the 9th and 10th linemen will fall to being 11th and 12th, and that does make a difference. But look, there are some guys who were playing tackle on Saturday who just do not look ready to play tackle if they need to be thrust into an NFL game, and that's concerning given the Titans' fragility with depth, the way that injuries have exposed them the last couple of seasons.
Nick, for you, easier or harder on a college or an NFL beat, or is it all just work?
As a reporter,
yeah.
Colleges have tighter lips.
Oh, yeah.
Pros
it's all nuclear codes.
Pros require heightened judgment of using information, if that makes sense. I don't think your listeners care all too much about the inner workings of beat writing, but in college, I could have a source who was one of my closest friends and was invited to my wedding, and I'd text him and he'd say, "Can't talk, let's get a beer later." In the NFL, I can text somebody I've never met before, and he'll tell me something, and I'll have to wonder, why? What do you gain from this?
Yeah,
it's interesting.
And so, different perspectives, but
Vrabel's great, isn't he?
Yeah, Vrabel's good to interact with. It's an adjustment from Lane for sure. But, I have no complaints about the NFL beat other than it's one team 12 months a year. College beats, you get a lot of different sports to watch. NFL, you got to, comes June, and you're like, what else can I say about this team that I haven't been saying for 7 months since the last game?
That's a good point. Nick, I don't think we've talked to you since the signing of DeAndre Hopkins with the Titans. What do you make of this move, and what can he add to this receiver group?
Yeah, the fun thing about when you add a receiver, I compare it to, let's say you're a baseball team at the trade deadline, and you trade for an ace closer. You trade for the best closer in baseball. You didn't get better because you replaced your closer with a better closer. You got better because your closer became your setup man, and your setup man became your seventh inning man, and your seventh inning man became your long relief guy, and you ended up taking the seventh guy out of the bullpen. And that's essentially what happens with DeAndre Hopkins. Is they're not better because DeAndre Hopkins is replacing Treylon Burks. They're better because DeAndre Hopkins replaces Treylon Burks, replaces Kyle Phillips, replaces Chris Moore, replaces Nick Westbrook-Akina, all the way down through the roster. It's strength. It is strength to this receiving core. You now have 4 guys on this team, counting the tight end, Chig Okonkwo, who realistically could go for 500 or 600 plus yards this year. And you're hoping, if you're the Titans, that Burks and Hopkins can both be up around 800, 900 yards. And that is such a huge upgrade over last year when I think Robert Woods led the team with 550. So it changes what you can do, and it obviously frees up Derrick Henry. And this might sound paradoxical, I think this ends up meaning Derrick Henry's going to run the ball more this year because they're going to be on the field more. Yeah. If your offense is better, you run more plays.
More carries or more rushing yards?
Both. I think that he's going to end up having more carries and potentially more rushing yards by extension because they're going to be on the field more. More first downs, longer drives, longer sustained possessions because DeAndre Hopkins affects the offense. And if you're getting, let's say, 2 more first downs per game because of it, that's what, 34 extra drives per season? Yeah. That's a lot to change an offense if it's just, you think of it in those simple terms.
And the multiplier effect of that keeps the defense off the field.
Yeah, no, it's almost as if having good football players makes your football team
really
better.
Does.
And I don't want to be somebody who oversells this because let's think about it this way. 3 of the 5 best receivers in the NFL changed teams last year. Devontae Adams, Tyreek Hill, A.J. Brown all changed teams. A.J. Brown goes from the Titans to the Eagles. The Eagles improved by 7 wins by adding a receiver. That's incredible. Yeah. Tyreek Hill goes from the Chiefs to the Dolphins. The Dolphins have the same record year over year with Tyreek Hill and without Tyreek Hill. They go 9-8 both years. The Raiders add Devontae Adams and get 5 wins worse. They were a playoff team. They end up having a top 10 pick despite Devontae Adams leading the NFL in receiving touchdowns. Adding 1 receiver, there's no rhyme or reason to how much it's going to change your team because team dynamics are so difficult to predict.
Yeah.
But that being said, obviously, having DeAndre is a good thing.
Sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. That division, are we entitling Jacksonville too much?
I don't think so. You have to grant teams the ability to get better. And Jacksonville was good last year, but they were a year ahead of schedule. So assuming Trevor Lawrence takes that jump from year 2 to year 3 that we saw Jalen Hurts and Tua Tagovailoa take last year, that we've seen so many countless quarterbacks take in the past. Josh Allen, year 2 to year 3, was a completely different quarterback. If Trevor Lawrence jumps into that pantheon of being one of the 5 best quarterbacks on the planet,
look out.
Jacksonville's going to win 11 or 12 games.
Yeah.
And nobody's doubting Trevor Lawrence's ability to make that jump because
might be the 2
he's
seed.
never been bad. He's a very good quarterback, and They add Calvin Ridley to that offense, which is going to be dangerous, and they figured out some offensive line stuff and some defense stuff in free agency and then the draft. And realistically, there's a lot of good pieces on that team. I don't think we're entitling them to anything. I think we're just projecting. And the projectability of that team is when a young team makes the playoff a year ahead of schedule, they're usually better the next year. They usually don't regress. And that doesn't mean they're going to be better. But I was talking to Sean Murphy-Bunting today, one of the Titans cornerbacks, and he said, I've never seen a team win a Super Bowl because of preseason rankings. And that's kind of what I'm thinking here. Just because we're saying in the preseason that we're predicting they're going to win doesn't mean they're going to. It's just when you're making predictions, you're playing probabilities. And the probability says that if a young team won the division last year and they're a year more mature, they're probably going to be even better.
And all these predictions, pro and college for us, that are all based on we have no clue about the injuries. If we knew that, we wouldn't be here.
Oh, yeah.
No, but we also wouldn't watch the games.
That's right.
That's true. That's very true. Well, you mentioned Treylon Burks a second ago when you were talking about the addition of DeAndre Hopkins. What have you seen from Treylon Burks in these last 3 weeks of training camp as he kind of gets more adjusted to the NFL in year two?
He's a good player. He's somebody who last year didn't get enough of an opportunity because of the injuries and because he came to camp and wasn't quite in pro shape yet, and there was a lot stacked against him. He's in pro shape now, and I mean, out at practice today, the first team offense ran 22 plays between 7-on-7 and 11-on-11 drills. Ryan Tannehill, I believe, completed his first 15 passes of the day, and 9 of those 15 went to either Treylon Burks or DeAndre Hopkins.
Wow.
If that works, if that is the rhythm, and you're not even playing full tackle football in practice, so we're barely counting what Derrick Henry and Tyjae Spears were doing, but if that's the rhythm, if you can get those guys going, that's a pretty darn good 1-2 punch. I'm not saying it's A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. I'm not saying it's Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. But what I am saying is it's easier to win when you have 2 good receivers. And the Titans have the chance to have, let's say, the 14th best 1-2 punch in the NFL, the 12th best 1-2 punch in the NFL. That'll play when you also have Derrick Henry.
What about the asthma issue with him?
It hasn't been an issue this training camp. I'm not in his body, so I can't tell you how he's doing, but it hasn't been an issue yet. And, I mean, look, he didn't mysteriously develop asthma last year. We saw how productive of a college football player he was.
I thought he was the best offensive player in the SEC in 2021.
He was very, very good. We were at that game when 52-51 Ole Miss Arkansas. That was one of the most unbelievable individual performances from a receiver I'd ever seen. It wasn't quite Devontae Smith catching 5 touchdowns and a half, but it was pretty high up there. And you give him credit. He's a big play receiver. He's kind of like a blend between A.J. Brown and Deebo Samuel in a way, which is a very new wavy, new agey kind of way of saying he can do everything. And, man, if he can figure it out at the NFL level, and if NFL teams don't have to sit back and double cover him because they have to pay attention to DeAndre, and then you have Chig coming over the middle and Kyle Phillips in the slot. I mean, this offense can be potent if everything works out, but you're also making bets based on an unproven second-year receiver, an unproven second-year slot receiver, a barely proven second-year tight end, and DeAndre Hopkins, who is 30 years old. It's tough. You're making a lot of predictions. What we were talking about with Jacksonville, we're also talking about with Tennessee.
Absolutely. Nick, last thing for you. Going into week 2 of preseason this week against the Vikings, what are some things that you're going to be looking for in that game? Some things you want to see the Titans improve on from week 1 to week 2?
2 big things. One, I'm really intrigued to see how the secondary does against Minnesota's passing offense, and this is probably more true in the joint practices than the spring or than the preseason game, but I really want to see how Christian Fulton and Sean Murphy-Bunting, et cetera, do against the Justin Jeffersons and KJ Osbornes and TJ Hawkinsons and Jordan Addisons of the world. I think that's going to be a very telling matchup to see just how much the secondary has progressed. And then the other thing I'm watching, which no duh, but I want to see which starters play. I mean, the way that the 3-week preseason is set up compared to the 4-week preseason is you're never really sure how much starters are going to play. But
so what's the
big
game
offensive
now?
line? Who knows? But so this Titans offensive line played 12 snaps together, and they looked good in Chicago. But you got 4 new starters and the one guy who isn't a new starter is playing a new position. You got to see these guys take reps together. You got to see this defensive line and this linebacking core where you have 3 or 4 new starters take reps together. I just want to see this team play as a cohesive unit, because until they do that, I'm out of practice every day, and I still can't confidently tell you how good this team is until they put it up in games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, it'll be interesting.
Fair enough.
Nick, thanks so much for joining us. Let's do this again soon.
Yep, talk soon.
Thank you, Nick.
Nick's from the Tennessee, and he is the beat writer for the Tennessee Titans.
Boy, and he was all over that team. He knows.
Oh, man, he does.
Very impressive.
Very, very impressive.
And I think the Titans are right there where if Jacksonville slipped any, Titans are there in that division.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like they're
I like
they're
the
coming
coaches in
together.
that division.
Oh, yeah, some really good coaches. But, I mean, this team looks like they're starting to come together, where there was a lot of question marks earlier in the offseason.
You guys talking about carries for Derrick Henry makes me think of another one of my favorite games. Like I said, one of my favorite games is to look at Tom Brady touchdown stats to just go through, and then you see a 50 in the middle of a bunch of 20s. The year he played with Randy Moss.
Sure.
Looking at Derrick Henry rush attempts per year through college to the NFL, I mean, it's a walk in the park for him playing NFL football, because Saban ran him like twice the amount that he runs for the season in the NFL. And it's not even NFL. So Saban prepared him so well for the NFL. Running the most out of every running back in the league is a walk in the park for him.
And a Heisman Trophy.
Trophy.
God bless Saban.
At the golf tournament, you could go down to the pit every day along right behind number 1 near 8T, and you could get the commissary. The pit's done for the year. It was so much fun to have kind of the third location last week with the commissary. A lot of people in both locations last week. So many people enjoying it out at the golf tournament. I know I directed a lot of people to the commissary in Collierville and in Germantown, and everybody found it out at the golf tournament. And it's that Memphis-style barbecue that's done the authentic Memphis way, the slow-cooked way. If you're craving an easier way to order, text commissary to 33733, getting close to tailgating and game-watching party. I know this Thursday night starts high school football, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday in the area this week. What a great place to stop by and load up for the tailgate for any season, for a high school, college, pro, whatever it is. Dig into the ribs or the shoulder, chopped or pulled on a plate, on a sandwich. You've got to start with the appetizers, though, like the barbecue nachos or the tamales, the cheese plate. And don't forget about the desserts like the lemon icebox pie and the banana pudding and the strawberry cake. You can buy whole pies and whole cakes. 901-754-5540. Online at commissarybbq.com in Collierville and Germantown. Those party areas, you look at that forecast for tomorrow and Wednesday, we can get out on the patio at Collierville. We hadn't been able to lately because of the steam bath we've been in, but we can with this forecast coming up. 901-754-5540. Online at commissarybbq.com.
Let's go ahead and get to a break. When we come back, we'll talk about what's trending.
Be sure to follow us at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows, stay up to date with station events, and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports56 WHBQ.
For over 8 decades, America's farmers have counted on the Little Red Tractor from Case IH, the Farmall, to help them make short work of their demanding chores. Well, Mid-South Ag can show you they aren't just for farms anymore. With horsepower ranging from 30 to 105, plus an army of attachments, they can tackle every chore on your to-do list, from hauling and mowing to loading and towing and then some. Stop by Mid-South Ag Equipment or call 662-890-3141 to find a Case IH Farmall that's right for you.
The Gossett Mitsubishi Summer Sales Event is still going strong at Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike. Whatever vehicle needs you may be wishing for, we've got you covered at Gossett Mitsubishi. 41 MPG Highway that can turn on a dime, that's 2023 Mitsubishi Mirage G4, $17,395 or $249 a month. 2024 Eclipse Cross combines luxurious styling with cutting-edge technology, generous cargo room, and versatility. $29,100 or $399 a month. And the powerful and fun to drive 2023 Mitsubishi Outlander, $29,580 or $499 a month. And you'll always get peace of mind with Mitsubishi's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. That's Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, or shop 24/7 at MemphisMitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 500 military rebate G4 PH 006839 MSRP 17895 Cross RZ 00688 MSRP 29850 Outlander PZO 59809 MSRP 30080 includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695 excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month with approved credit dealer stock only.
Is your roof leaking? Do you have water damage on your ceiling of your home or business? Do you need assistance gathering much needed data and images from your storm damaged roof for an insurance claim? Call Metro Builders, roof and restoration specialists, and schedule your free inspection. At Metro Builders, our team of Hague certified technicians and fully trained estimators are ready to come out and evaluate any concerns you may have. Metro Builders Roof and Restoration. We accept all insurance carrier scopes. Call Metro Builders now. Each and every day we provide clients many different types of data and estimates for their insurance carrier. These include estimate and photo reports of all damage, from the roof to water damage on rafters and ceilings and even studs and plates inside walls. Check out the local BBB for our 27-year history in construction in Memphis, or check us out online today at metrobuildersmemphis.com. That's metrobuildersmemphis.com for your local residential and commercial roofing and restoration experts. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717.
What's holding you back from learning the language you've always wanted to know?
Too hard. Takes too long.
Not with Babbel. Babbel's lessons take just 15 minutes a day.
15 minutes isn't long.
Nope. And they're fun. So you don't realize you're learning a language, but you are. In 3 weeks, you're able to start having conversations. And Babbel's lessons are built around real life.
And with Babbel, it isn't hard. It's perfect.
Now try Babbel free. Just go to Babbel.com. That's BABBEL.com.
I'm with John Burgos from the world-famous Rendezvous in the Alley since 1948.
Brett, we have catered parties all over this country and all over the world, from Singapore, Australia to Central Park in New York. But many people don't realize how much we do locally. For holiday events, office parties, tailgating, birthday parties, you can't do better than the Rendezvous. For example, you can get a cheese and sausage tray for 15 to 300 people for $3.75 a person. You can even build your own nacho bar for $10.50 per person. All you need is a minimum of 15 people. In many cases, we can arrange delivery and full-service catering. We've even made it easy to get to-go items. You can just park at our front door in the alley, put on your flashes, and we'll get you going ASAP. For all your catering items and prices, go to hogsfly.com, click on menu, and drop down to catering.
Thank you, John. The Rendezvous, Mr. Charlie Burgos' Rendezvous in the Alley since 1948 and celebrating its 75th year.
Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis in Olive Branch has an offer you can't refuse. They will pay you to do business with them if you want luxury. And I'm talking the Genesis G70 car. If you would love to have that kind of new technology, they will give you a $1,000 rebate when you finance with Genesis Motor Finance. In other words, they'll pay you $1,000 to do business with them, and you get brand new luxury. You can't beat it. That's Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis, right at the corner of Craft Road and Highway 78 in Olive Branch. Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis in Olive Branch, where customer retention is amazing. There's a reason. They take care of you with a team that's been together for a long time. Whether it's finance or whether it's service, you can't beat them. Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Times. We've got about 30 minutes left on this Monday. A lot to get to in this segment, what's trending, but I do want to start off with kind of the big headline story I saw when I woke up this morning involving James Harden and what he said today about Daryl Morey. I'm guessing with how early it was at a James Harden Adidas event. I'm guessing it was not here in the States.
It was in China.
It was in China.
China. He's there too, a bunch of Chinese children.
I'm sure they really care about
interpreter for liar in Chinese.
Worst part about it was that box T-shirt he was wearing didn't fit him well. Didn't fit him well. It wasn't a good look. I'm telling you, that was the worst part about it, quite frankly. In my opinion, that's just one man's opinion.
Daryl Morey was Harden's guy.
I hate Daryl Morey.
I mean, it seemed like it.
A lot of people are criticizing
So
Harden
overdone.
because it's such a weird look to do that
It is
to
weird.
a bunch of Chinese children. Like, what are you doing, man?
Yeah.
That's crazy. But also, I hate Daryl Morey, so I'm team let's blast the guy. Good
Yeah.
deal.
I'm almost there with you on blast Daryl Morey.
I just don't. The way he forms basketball teams is just insane to me.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing here? Just like abandoning defense because some weird statistic that he's obsessed with or group of statistics.
Yeah.
I can't even begin to get into Daryl Morey's brain. He apparently, allegedly, wrote a musical about basketball.
Really?
Like a Broadway.
That seems like right up your alley.
Like a Broadway musical he wrote about basketball.
Interesting.
So he's just a weird guy.
Weird guy.
I don't think he's very good at his job, and I'm
Beloved
down
by
for
the national media.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
I think so.
I think
mean,
so, too, yeah.
Savant. Now, he got a little.
Oh, yeah, they say, oh, what a genius. Oh, is this guy a
If
genius?
it's not
Morey.
him, it's Sam Presti.
It's true. Oh, yeah, Morey's a clown, though.
But you're right. I mean, been James Harden's guy ever since the start of things. I mean, was dying to get to Philadelphia to be with him again, and now he's a liar.
And neither have ever won anything.
Not at all. And so
I imagine this probably has to do with contract talks, too. Maybe
it's
Daryl
got
Morey
to.
isn't being as transparent
Well,
as James Harden would like him to be.
I'm sure it is.
And
man.
that could be it.
we just got the story on Friday or Saturday that the 76ers have ended talks with the Clippers about a trade to get James Harden to the Clippers. So I'm sure it's all surrounding that. I mean,
He's from L.A., isn't he? Before he went to Arizona State.
He's from out
that
west,
area.
so let me look it up.
But I'm guessing all of this is it was very clear that when he re-signed at the start of
he's
the
from LA,
offseason,
sure is.
But it was very clear, I mean, when he re-signed at the start of the offseason that his intentions were to be traded and preferably be traded to the Clippers, and it seemed like at first that was going to happen, and then it was less likely, and then those talks kicked back up again, and now the door completely shut, and so I'm sure he's upset about all that, but it was very weird to wake up to that this morning.
What's that big James Harden post-May 10th game?
I couldn't tell you.
He had a good playoff game, I think. I think game one of their
I do
of one
remember
of their series
one
was
of those
really good,
early
but he also
ones.
had some really bad in the last series. Who did they lose to?
The Celtics.
The Celtics, that's right. So it was game one against the Celtics.
And some bad exits.
Yeah, that's what his last game. He scored like 6 points, single-digit points,
Mr. May.
something like that.
I'm pulling up his game.
It's tough for James Harden too, and James Harden is kind of known to pout a little bit, outwardly, and not like he doesn't go as far as to not play. He'll play and not play while he's playing. Like just
shut down on him.
Yeah, kind of shut down. Yeah.
In the first game against Boston, game one, 45 points.
Give me a date. Is that post May 10th?
May 1st.
Okay.
And then let's see, the post May 10th games, only 2. 13 points on 25% shooting and 9 points on 27%.
That was the last game. Was the 9?
And he was pretty good in the
single
Oklahoma City Finals run year, though.
Sure, but that was, I mean, that's
a
seems
while
like forever ago now. I mean,
well, also, and this example too, he's also yielding to Embiid, and I think that's a factor maybe to consider as well. Embiid's a real good player in his own right.
He is.
And I think they have as good as any two professional people do relationship. You know, I mean, I don't think they're like best buddies.
Referring to Maxey.
Oh yeah,
yeah, absolutely.
Which is good too. I mean, we don't need to have both of those guys on the court playing point guard. Give the ball to Maxey and let's go.
He's the future.
He's the guy, man. He's a good player, real good player.
Sounds like NBA more schedule news this week. We know with last week's announcement, open night's going to be the 24th.
Yeah.
Grizzlies opening night looks like will be at home on Wednesday night, the 25th.
Okay.
And I think we'll have a lot more schedule news around Thursday.
I love it. Give me the schedule. It gets me
Does
excited.
it always trickle out like this?
It does.
Yeah.
I don't recall.
It used to even be worse than this. They'd give you, it used to be a leak-o-rama.
What do you think? Do you think the NFL is taking over Christmas Day now officially?
No, huh?
I know.
But
There's enough for
I think
everybody.
the NFL's gotten lucky, the last few years with it falling on NFL playing dates, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
We're going to be through with that after this year.
What
this
day
year's a
is it?
Sunday, I think.
Is
right?
it? Oh wow!
This
so
year
they're playing
Christmas is
lot.
a Monday.
Monday. Okay.
But they're playing multiple games, I believe, still.
But and next year Christmas will be on a Wednesday because of leap year.
Because leap year.
And that'll be the end of the NFL kind of
because I'll just
jumping in on the fun.
You think?
many
That's
games?
pretty profitable time slot. Everyone's at home, Brett, and everyone loves the
But
NFL.
then that
NFL's
affects,
king.
that affects the
NFL
next
Wednesday,
week,
though?
and it affects the next week and the week after that. I mean, and the week before.
We did it in
I
COVID.
mean,
In COVID, we had an NFL game, and it was like the first time since the 40s to play a game on a Wednesday.
Oh, you're not playing it Saturday right at the turn of January yet, are you? No, the NFL isn't playing it on Saturday that early in the season. Right?
Yes, they are playing at that time.
Okay, so that's how you do it. Here we go.
Saturday games on December 23rd.
All the teams have to play Saturday the week prior, and then or the week after, one way or the other, and then play on that Wednesday. I don't know. I'm not but this is a real valuable opportunity for the National Football League.
3 games on Christmas this year: 12, 3:30, and 7:15. So
last year the Dolphins played on Christmas.
It was, yeah. I don't know, but I mean, Christmas will always be NBA for me, at least.
Thanksgiving.
It'll always be there to dominate. Though they're not dominating with NFL at all.
No. But like you said,
no knock on them. The NFL's king. That's the way it goes.
It just is.
It's a different animal.
But I mean, like you said, when we get to Wednesday next year, I mean, it just seems like there's no way you can have multiple. I mean, maybe you could throw one. Maybe. I mean, it's almost the same thing as playing a
But
Thursday
I thought we were
game,
so
I guess.
concerned about injury and player safety. But we're not.
Money.
Concerned about money too, though.
Yeah.
You're concerned about all of it, and it's like a scale that goes back and forth.
Of
sometimes.
what you're concerned about more at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
I know what the owners are more concerned with.
Sure do.
Money.
Jim Irsay told us to our faces not even a month ago.
Literally, he did. So
that we don't matter, and it's all about money.
All about money. So yeah, that'll be interesting, and hopefully, like you said, around Thursday or so, we'll get some more clarity on the schedule for the Grizzlies. But we did get some clarity today on the Associated Press Top 25.
Tennessee was robbed.
That's what
I don't know.
I didn't know Jay Morgan
10 to 12,
I mean,
but it was just
Lord.
something I noticed. That was the team.
Yeah.
I don't think you were here, Brian. Maybe you were. I can't remember.
But
I know that Brett and I said we were both. That was the team we were most surprised with. Was that low? We thought they would be higher, and thought for sure they would be higher on the AP poll, and it was the exact opposite. In fact, which is I always thought was a little bit staggering.
Tennessee put one on UVA opening weekend, and FSU loses to LSU. Tennessee jumps in the top 10.
Texas Tech also not included.
Right outside, though. They're the first receiving vote with 101 receiving
Notre
votes.
Dame 13th. The last time they started in the AP at 13 was 1988, and that's the last time they won it all.
Really?
Well, are they generally, you think, higher or lower? Obviously, they're always probably overrated.
They're always there.
Yeah.
But that seems a little low for Notre Dame.
Really?
Seems a little low, yeah.
Come back to earth then.
Texas at 11.
Oh, man.
Above Tennessee. That's
above Notre Dame.
That's crazy.
Above Utah.
I don't know. Do you think Texas is going to be better than Notre Dame? I don't know who's better. Notre Dame has.
Can I tell you after week 2 at Bama?
Yeah.
After the season, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
I'll watch every game. I'll watch every game, and then I'll say
that's
they
when
were better.
We show how little we really knew in August.
That's right.
Yeah, really. No, but I don't have too many issues with the top 20.
Yeah, I'm just not going to throw any punches over preseason AP.
Exactly.
Who cares? But I do love Tulane at 24.
Although I care more about football than I do basketball. Sorry, Brian.
And the big 22 versus 24 week 2 matchup.
Exactly. Ole Miss and Tulane both handle business week 1. Game day needs to go to New Orleans.
That would be great.
I would love that.
Where would you put it?
It's going to be at Bama.
It's gonna be.
No. Well, yeah.
Where would you put it?
Where would you put
right
it?
by Ullman on campus.
On campus. So not like they did Memphis.
I guess you could, but
no, I don't think you could. Logistically, that would be a nightmare.
But remember, way back in the spring, kind of the first maybe spring football, college football conversation of who could be this year's TCU.
Yeah.
And I said North Carolina.
Oh yeah.
21 with that quarterback.
Yeah.
Texas Tech, and they're out of it. That's why I was so upset about that.
You said Texas Tech that day.
They're left out. I'm just ashamed. I was so upset.
They're right there. They're right there. You get a win week 1.
Yeah, it
Iowa
really
loses
doesn't matter.
week
You're
1.
right.
3 of the AP top 4, Georgia, Missouri, Georgia, Michigan, Ohio State. That's 3 of my 4 college football playoff teams.
It is.
With Tennessee.
Yeah.
So the AP agrees with you, Brett. Are you an AP voter?
I am not.
Oh.
I asked David Cobb about it, but Alabama at 4, too high or?
About right.
I think so.
I think they've done enough to earn that.
I mean, it's as long as Nick Saban's the head coach.
If they go 8-4, okay, next year maybe adjust.
Yeah, I'll tell you after the season if it's right. I'll tell you exactly where.
So
they should
after
be
the regular season, or do we need bowl games and like playoffs?
I need you telling us now.
Do you want? No, you know what? It's out of respect to the AP and the way things used to be. I'm going to do it throughout bowl games.
Okay.
And I choose the national.
You'll
championship.
decide national champion.
My personal record book, at least. It's not going to matter.
Throw the AP out.
I loved it when we used to have multiple winners. I loved it.
The last split was 2003, which is I went to the national championship game under the BCS moniker. I watched it.
LSU got one. OU got one.
Yet some.
No, who else got one?
USC. And,
hard to believe.
LSU beat OU.
Yeah.
Hard to believe it's that recent. I mean, it seems like such a
Before that
concept.
Colorado and Georgia Tech splitting.
I'm not sure.
In the early 90s.
Yeah, it sounds about right.
I didn't mind it at all.
No. I was a little disappointed.
But I didn't mind ties.
But I remember back in the day when we were still doing the BCS and when Pete Carroll was still at his height, they claimed it, like legitimately, like on statistics, on the TV. ESPN would show them. Like the networks that are showing the games would show these statistics like they were national champions. And I'm like, if I'm not mistaken, I was at a game that was labeled the BCS National Championship. They can't be
confetti and everything.
Everything. I think it's all a trophy.
A trophy,
It was a big trophy that Nick Saban held over his head.
That was the ball, wasn't it?
Yeah, it sure was.
It was, yeah.
The first ball, I would have to imagine.
I guess so, yeah. I did hate after the Tigers received one vote in the coaches poll that no love from the Associated Press. I'm guessing. I'm starting to think maybe
the AP has an American bias.
That could have been a misvote in the coaches poll.
You think? Yeah. Who would they have been? I don't know how it works. I
don't know who they would vote for. But
we can't track that down.
Coaches are less reliable.
I just don't. I mean,
what do they know about football?
I hope the Tigers are around top 25 this year, but I just after what they did last year, would be surprised if a coach would.
Have y'all started doing W's and L's on your?
I've not. I need a pencil. And I need a highlighter. And
I've mentally been doing it.
I've
also been sending some feelers out. You know, I like to get a lot of data, Brett, and so I have other people send me their W's and L's, and I kind of weigh them against what I'm thinking. Gives me a bit more confidence in what I'm doing.
In 2 weeks, we will be doing them rapid fire.
Oh yeah. I've got to start looking at these week 0 games. That's gonna be here before we know it.
How about it?
I gotta start looking at these
in
games.
3 weeks from yesterday.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Week 0.
Oh, 3 weeks from yesterday is week 1.
2 weeks is week 0.
I'm so rude.
12 days.
I'm so rude to week 0. It's so much more.
It's almost here.
It is.
I mean,
so it's really the loneliest number.
And I got to gamble on it.
That's what I've heard.
It is. I don't know.
I was
You're going against Northwestern, aren't you?
Oh, absolutely. But that number's going to be big. You're going to find a
USC minus 30 over San Jose State.
And we can't watch it. Won't be able to watch it, Brett.
No.
Tell you what,
so forget about it.
I got buddies I will not name because this is tough. That are sending me asking me if I have any access to books that have lines out for week 2 of the college football season.
What?
Odds on games in week 2.
Week 2.
I informed him I did not.
I did
not.
That's
Bama, Texas.
Yeah, Bama, Texas.
Ole Miss, Tulane.
Ole Miss, Tulane. There's another good game. James Madison, Virginia is also that week. Maybe he's trying to get some action on that game. That's weird. Let's go ahead and get to our final break of the day. And when we come back, we'll wrap up today's show with Taco Bell Crunch Time.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned in to Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Response to the all-new Genesis Diamonds has been incredible. People are loving what we've brought to Memphis. Genesis is a different kind of jewelry store with more jewelry than you've ever seen in one place at prices you never thought possible. What people really love about Genesis is the transparency, the education, Genesis is revealing all the long-held secrets of the diamond industry. We'll teach you how to buy like a dealer buys, how to understand the ways diamonds are priced by the wholesalers, how slight variations in size and clarity can translate into thousands in savings passed along to you. At Genesis, our non-commissioned diamond experts are here to guide you every step of the way. Our diamond education will make you a better, more informed consumer. Even if you don't buy from us, we'll make you a more dangerous shopper when you visit other places. Discover the Genesis difference, forever changing how people in Memphis buy diamonds and fine jewelry. Now open at Poplar & Perkins, the official jeweler of the Tennessee Titans.
I've always gotten tons of UTIs. Cranberry products never worked for me, and I was desperate for a way to be proactive. I'm Jenna Ryan, CEO and founder of Eucora. We've worked with doctors to develop effective urinary tract health products. Eucora is helping over 100,000 women stay healthy. Ready to join them? Get 30% off at eucora.com/radio. That's UQORA.com/radio.
These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Football season is about to kick off, and FanDuel is giving you the chance to win all season long because right now when you bet on a Super Bowl winner, you can get bonus bets every time they win in the regular season. Just pick any team to win the Super Bowl, and you'll get bonus bets for every victory. You can use your bonus bets on spreads, player props, over-unders, and more. How about Cincinnati? They nearly pulled the trick 2 years ago. I'm riding them. Great quarterback, solid offensive line, talent on defense, and consistency with a coaching staff. Plus, they've got experience in the big games recently. They've been close. I think they finally knocked down the door. So visit FanDuel.com/win and start earning bonus bets with America's #1 sportsbook. That's FanDuel.com/win.
21 plus and present in Tennessee. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call TN Redline 1-800-889-9789.
There's an institution in East Memphis that I love talking about. It's the Spirit Shop at 4848 Poplar Avenue, right down the street from Clark Tower, and it looks like a log cabin. It's been around Memphis since 1969 with a family-owned, friendly, knowledgeable sales staff that is just a wonderful place to go. I love going in and talking wine or bourbons, and they've got such great selection. So if you've not visited the Spirit Shop in a while, it's been remodeled. You'll love what you see when you need spirits. Tell Eddie Wollo said hello.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy! This is for all the biggest crunch time. You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye!
It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin, this baby is over.
The double steak grilled cheese burrito, so good. Double the steak with nacho cheese sauce, seasoned rice, red strips, sour cream, and the 3-cheese blend wrapped inside a warm flour tortilla, with even more 3-cheese blend grilled on the top. The double steak grilled cheese burrito, it hits the spot now at Taco Bell. And at Taco Bell, when they say they are feeding people's lives with unexpected good, they mean it. Bowl food you can't get anywhere else.
Well, what I learned today is that Iowa women's basketball has officially sold out season tickets for the 2023-24 season. It's the first time that the women's basketball program has ever sold out Carver Hawkeye Arena.
Deservedly so. That girl's awesome.
Oh, yeah. Caitlin Clark, what she did last year.
I was scared there was going to be another gambling
Oh, no.
innuendo here.
Thank the Lord not. But really cool to see after what that program did last year, Caitlin Clark getting all of the recognition this offseason. I saw some Iowa State Fair had a butter sculpture made out of her. And
she played
the highest honor.
The highest honor. Yeah.
Oh, did she really?
Yeah. So really cool to see that it'll be sold out, and sounds like it'll be a really rocking environment for Iowa women's basketball games next year.
Will be. What I learned, 15 job interviews for head coach for Eric Bieniemy, and now this from Ron Rivera with the still dysfunctional Washington football team. Eric Bieniemy may never be a head coach, and this doesn't help any. And now we may know why. He may just be too tough on his players, or or the modern player can't stand this, but in this candy blank society that we now live in, I don't know how you can take that type of instruction out of football. It's football. But we're playing in this environment, and I don't think there's any way to make football touchy-feely.
Yeah.
But Ron Rivera's kind of doomed his offensive coordinator.
Yeah. Yeah, he really is. What I could have done without is this story about Wander Franco and the Tampa Bay Rays. It's insane.
Really
I guess late Saturday, early yesterday, reports started coming out.
This is a hard one to talk about.
It really is. Wander Franco.
Not even reports. It was circulating on Twitter.
Exactly. It was Twitter, social media from, he's from the Dominican Republic. It was from people down in the Dominican Republic that Wander Franco, the young sensation for Tampa Bay, was having relationships with an underage girl. He did not play yesterday. Kevin Cash, after the game, said it was nothing to see there. It was just he was out for a game.
He buried the lead.
I'm so sorry. The Tampa Bay Rays had a giveaway. Is that what you were talking about?
No.
Oh, what's the lead?
So you underage, right? You think minor, like you think. So it has to be 18. So you think like probably 17,
14.
13 or 14.
Yeah, no, it's awful. And there's pictures of this girl wearing his 5 chain that he has that he wears all the time. I mean, it's an awful situation. He was sat yesterday, and Kevin Cash after the game came out and said that it was nothing to see there. He just needed a day off. Now he's been put on the restricted list as the league, not just the team, the Major League Baseball, the league is looking into this situation. It's not looking good. It's disgusting. It is. I mean, if this is true, I don't ever want to see Wander Franco play
Except
baseball
for Albert
again.
Pujols, I think he's the best AAA prospect I've ever seen come through all.
Which is why I hated seeing the story, because I loved watching Wander Franco in AAA here in Memphis.
It is a pretty vile story.
Yeah.
Could have done without. I started this earlier. I don't think we've ever had the Cardinals and the Yankees in last place this late in the year. On this date, this late in the year. Been divisions since '69. I don't think we can find. I'm not doing the research on it. Somebody wants to prove me wrong, go right ahead.
Yeah. Where are you beaming tonight?
Beam me to Yankees at Truist Park against the Braves. Schedule makers did the Braves a good one, didn't they? Yankees on a Monday night after school starts, they'll be packed. But the Braves are good enough to pack them in anytime. But a really good hit for them tonight, 33 over 500.
I never do this. Brett, I'm joining you. I'm going on the beam machine with Brett to Atlanta today.
Wow.
Beam machine's going to be wild.
It's going to be crazy tonight on the beam machine.
Where do I want to go tonight?
Oh, you got to have it decided. With the big number, you couldn't pick the big number, and now you can't decide where you're beaming to.
I think I will go down to Texas tonight to see the Texas Rangers. Max Scherzer on the mound for them, so I'll go watch some
at home
Ranger
against
baseball.
the Angels.
Yeah.
Angels got a good win yesterday, 2-1 in Houston. NFL college football camp news: quarterback starting to be named. Here comes the transfers when they start getting named. And pitiful for the Cardinals tonight against the A's. Pitiful A's, pitiful Cardinals.
Yeah, it's not going to be fun to watch.
What if they lose the series?
Stros at Marlins.
Don't you dare.
Yeah, that's already started. That'll be a real good game.
Rays at Giants late.
Yeah, no, there's some good. It's not a huge slate tonight, but some good games, some good matchups, some good pitchers on the mound tonight. So it should be a fun night of baseball. Enjoy it. We'll talk to you again tomorrow afternoon.